Welcome back to Legends of the Squared Circle. After a short delay, um, we took a couple months off, but we're back. Um, I appreciate the love. If y'all will notice, the love is coming up strong. So welcome, guys. How we doing?
Oh man, it's good, man. 3 months off. Time to be back.
Yeah, I'm
It's
excited.
always excuse me. It's always a good thing when the Oilers lose in the finals.
Hell yeah.
And congrats to OKC Thunder for winning their first ever NBA championship.
Yeah, and the crowd went mild.
Well, the NBA is a bad product.
It really is. Like, you see all the other three major sports celebrating like they just won it for the first time. And then there's basketball. Oh, yeah, cool. We won it. Even our hats look like shit.
See, the NBA did something right because they got 7 different champions in 7 years. So whatever they did there was right. But they made the product so boring, so no defense. I don't know. It is wrong.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it would have been a lot more entertaining if Halliburton didn't go down. But at the same time, it's also like, yeah, no, that was mid at best.
Yeah, nobody gives a shit about the NBA anymore. That's just how I feel. So we're gonna start the show off with I think we will start with this movie that Brandon picked out, and I will let Brandon go first on this one.
Who?
You.
Oh, my bad. That's kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. But if I had to take one, because you're screwed either way, you're gonna hear something from somebody anyway. I'm gonna take The Rock off. I just don't feel you can take Stone Cold off. I don't think you can get rid of HBK, and there's no way in hell you can take The Undertaker off.
Yeah.
They're all detrimental characters, but I feel like you take the least amount of flack for getting The Rock off. Obviously, a huge part of what they were able to build, but
yeah, for sure. James.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree and go with The Rock as well. I mean, yeah, The Rock and Stone Cold had one of, if not the greatest rivalries when I was growing up, but you take Stone Cold out of that picture, you don't get the WWE Attitude Era.
Oh, for sure. Terry.
I'm gonna follow suit here, and I would definitely go with The Rock as well. Simply because, I mean, it was great watching him. It's a tough one, but the fact that, I mean, I can't blame the guy that he went to Hollywood for more money. Is putting his attention towards that. But however, the other guy stayed longer, especially Undertaker. I mean, he had longevity. Like, he basically outlasted. He started in WWF, well, except for Michaels. He started in WWF before Rock and Stone Cold, and then he outlasted all of them. Pretty much so. But
30 freaking years. That's crazy, though.
Yeah.
That's crazy work.
So I would definitely go with The Rock on this one.
Yeah, I agree with you. The Rock did it well. He just didn't do it long enough to be on the list with these legends here. They would have put someone else on here. They would have made it a little harder. But The Rock, just as big as he was short when these other three did it for a long time. And Stone Cold was a bigger star than The Rock, whether we like to admit it or not.
Mm-hmm.
He was. Stone Cold was that dude. If you hear, back in the day, you heard The Rock's music coming, like, oh, cool, we're about to get a cool promo. The Rock's going to talk some shit. Well, you heard the glass break, somebody was getting their ass whipped, and you weren't taking your eyes off that TV. So I got to give the nod to Stone Cold. Ain't no way in hell I'm taking off HBK if you know me. Taker is Taker. I mean, probably the most well-known wrestler from the youngest generation, all the way to up to boomers, more than any of these other three, believe it or not. because kids today, some of them don't know Stone Cold that well and don't know The Rock that well, don't know HBK that well, but they sure as hell know who the Undertaker is.
Mm-hmm.
So can't take him off. So Rock, you got to go, broski. We love you, Rock, but like, yeah, not in this list.
Plus, on top of that, they weren't around to see like all the scary stuff that he would do when he was mounting a comeback, especially with what he was doing with Kane leading up to WrestleMania 20.
Look, man, I remember Undertaker first came out in the Golden Era, and I was like, geez. And then they're like, he's going to fight Hulk Hogan. And I'm like, oh, my God, Hulk Hogan's got to fight Undertaker. I mean, yeah, Undertaker, instant star when he came out.
Oh, yeah.
The Rock was not. He was Rocky Maivia. He had some blue shorts and some arm tassels. And, yeah, Stone Cold, same way. Wasn't a huge star when he first came out. Won the U.S. title with Stunning Steve. Yeah, really cool. HBK, pretty much a star since he came out with the Rockers. Had to split, though, to become that star. Undertaker, the second he walked down, the very first time the gong went off and the lights went out, his very first entrance, instant star.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and the one thing that Rock, Stone Cold, and Shawn Michaels all share is, like, once they found their niche, like they found their gimmick that they wanted to roll with, that just propelled them to superstardom. But like you said, when the Undertaker first came out, you heard the organ playing, it was like, oh God, that is scary right off the bat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was. Kane was scary too.
Oh yeah.
You know, you put Kane had longevity too, but if you put Kane on this list, he's still got to go. There's not really a lot of people you could put on this list, and then you'd have to eliminate somebody else. Like not a lot at all. I mean, if you put Hulk Hogan on this list, one of the other ones might have to go, but outside of him, who? That's how I feel. So before we move on, biggest star on this graphic, we all agree is Undertaker. Winning the anthem will be Taker.
I mean, if you think about it, he's been through 4 different eras. Like I said, the Golden Era, the Attitude Era, the PG Era, the Ruthless Aggression Era, and he was still top guy. Seemed like in all those eras, no matter what.
Mm-hmm. What's really crazy though is we talk about like all the Samoan wrestlers from the bloodline that are still in WWE, but even during the Golden Era and the Attitude Era, it doesn't get talked about enough that 3 out of those 4 guys were from Texas, and they were running the WWE at the time.
Yeah.
So Texas was on top of WWE.
Well, Texas is a big place with a lot of people, so generally, you'll get that. A lot of people from Texas, California, New York tend to, just because there's so many damn people from those places. Crazy amount of people from Texas, California, New York, though, for real, man. I think New York City alone has something like 23 million people living there in the city. That's insane. Yeah, I'm putting the pass on that. All right, cool. So, y'all want to go into dream matches next?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
All right, everybody just do one, and we'll continue around until y'all are done with y'all's dream matches. Brandon, you want to go first?
Yeah, that's fine.
Brandon's show, by the way. He come up with all the stuff, made all the graphics, videos, so we appreciate that. All right.
Like Barry Horowitz, pat yourself on the back. Oh no, it was like this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's keep it PG era.
Oh no. We degenerate from X over here.
Okay. So for me, a match that was supposed to happen that didn't happen due to someone's unfortunate passing was Eddie and HBK at Mania 22. That was a match that probably would have stole the entire show. And obviously, he unfortunately passed out of nowhere, and then obviously had the HBK Vince McMahon storyline. That was okay, but the match was really underwhelming. You can imagine the build up and the storyline you could have had with Eddie and HBK, a lot of back and forth, and the match would have been a banger. Definitely could have had potential to be 4 or 5 star match off the rip, like just wrestling alone, not including the stories, the promos, everything leading up to that. That's a match that like I feel like we really got robbed from, and it wasn't anybody else. It wasn't anybody's fault. Just a really unfortunate circumstance.
Yeah, for sure. I would have to watch it. Eddie passing was terrible. What about you, Terry?
Well, I mentioned this before and I almost spoiled it, so thank you for not taking it from me. I think it was during the Attitude Era, there was supposed to be a storyline they were going to start to do with The Rock and HBK.
Mm-hmm.
This is like when Rock transitioned from Rocky Maivia over to the People's Champ gimmick and everything. And it was going to be, I guess, the egos like on both sides. It was probably clashing more than what HBK and Bret Hart was doing. So I guess I don't know how true it was from the documentary thing I was watching, but I guess it was HBK said he wasn't going to do it because I guess he didn't want to put him over. He probably felt he was still, he's a superstar already. He was, gaining momentum quick, but I think he probably felt that The Rock had more to, I guess, pay his dues more.
The Rock didn't want to work with him. They had like they had like some kind of side. I don't know the full extent, but they had some kind of side beef. And he's like, no, I don't really want anything to do with that. So they just didn't. That would have been a great one though.
So
Yeah,
from what I understood about that situation was Vince McMahon had full reign and said that The Rock versus Triple H was going to be a better feature than The Rock versus HBK. And I think they got that right. as fun as HBK and Rock would have been, that beef between Triple H and The Rock is legendary. Mm-hmm. It lasted a decade. I think they got that call right. And I think it propelled both Triple H and Rock to where they are because of them working together. Because that shit, like Stone Cold and The Rock was really cool, but Triple H and The Rock was like, they were trying to kill each other. It seemed real. Like they hated each other. Like Triple H came out in blackface and made fun of the like it was crazy.
These are Henry.
Yes. And then The Rock came out with the fake Triple H hair, man. Like that shit was great. That HBK and Rock would have ruined that, and I'm glad that it never happened personally because ain't nothing better than Triple H and The Rock. So what's going on, JT? Triple H and The Rock, man, that shit was cool. That shit was one of the best rivalries in wrestling history. You could take out of WWF, you could just say one of the greatest rivalries in wrestling history. You incorporate everything, and that one was one of the top ones I ever saw. I think HBK and Rock would have been cool, but Triple H and The Rock was better. It just, The Rock hitting Shawn Michaels, just, I don't know, man. That's why Shawn Michaels didn't really fuck with Hulk Hogan and all them. He was small guy, and The Rock was not a small guy. The Rock was a massive, tenacious human being, and so was Triple H. And I think that's why I would have liked that better. But anything with HBK, I'd be down for. I don't really know of any matches that should have happened but didn't, other than maybe the ones y'all talk about. But I got one I would have liked to have seen. But go ahead, James.
So, man, in my point of view, the closest we got was leading up to, I want to say, WrestleMania 20. And that was about it. But due to, both creative differences and the Stone Cold on the side, like, so you want to put this dude over, but there's no build-up, there's no storyline, there's no this, there's nothing that is gonna go into this that makes any sense whatsoever. And honestly, I really think that if we saw it and it had the right stuff incorporated, it would have been a good rivalry and even a good dream match of Stone Cold and Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, Um, yeah, Stone Cold. It was a qualifying match on a SmackDown for King of the Ring, and he was supposed to put Brock Lesnar over in a qualifying match, and I think Stone Cold was right there. Didn't make any sense for that to go down that way. He's like, I don't care about losing. We can make me lose, but let's have a build up to this. Like, you want this guy to be the next big guy, and you want me to kind of pass the torch. Well, let's do it the right way. And Vince McMahon said no, and he's like, okay, well, I'll take my ball and go home. Y'all have the best day ever. And that's how
Ratings dropped because that man was drawing the crowds.
Oh yeah, for sure. So that made no sense. It must have just been like a it must have really just been like one of those I'm feeling disrespected type moments. And for Vince McMahon, like, you know, I know Stone Cold's getting too big for his own ass, so we need to rein him in type deal is what I think was going on there, and humble him.
Yeah, like have Brock Lesnar pay his dues and everything like that. And like I said, it was definitely a good idea for a match, but yeah, like there was no build up, there was no like good promo sessions or anything like that could have been done, and yeah.
Yeah, no, they completely messed up. Now for mine, mine was never canceled or nothing, but just a rivalry that I would have liked to have seen was Chris Jericho and Bret Hart. Like, imagine the fun you could have had with the Excellence of Execution and the Lionheart. Like, I just couldn't imagine how fun the buildup would be. Jericho running in and attacking him every time he could do it. Every time Bret come out to talk, he gets on the mic and oversteps him, and and then Bret Hart and him. The actual match itself, with Bret Hart being the excellence of execution, the way that he would break a match down, pull you through it, and then Jericho with the high impact and all that. So I don't know, man. I think a Chris Jericho Bret Hart rivalry could have been something that we saw end at WrestleMania if they were both in their prime at that point. And I think it would have made one of the greatest WrestleMania moments ever, to be honest with you. But that's just something I would have liked to have seen. You got a second part, Brandon?
I'm sorry?
You got another one?
Not right offhand. That's the one that really stood out to me that had the highest potential.
Yeah.
I do. Actually, after I realized the topic, what we're going to talk about, there was some I had actually researched, and this goes off of one that never happened. I'm not sure why it didn't, especially the guys were basically in their prime at the same time. So if you guys will allow, I would like to change my answer.
Okay.
And this would have been during the Ruthless Aggression era. So this would have been Brock Lesnar versus Dave Bautista.
Ooh.
They have never, I've looked it up, they have never had a singles match against each other ever. Not one time.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I think a lot with Batista, they were talking about in the back, he really didn't like being hit. He tried to, you know, if I'm trying to remember what Triple H said, like with Batista, you had to be kind of slow and soft, because he said he didn't really like to be thrown around. He didn't really like to be hit. So, you know, had to kind of cater to him on that or whatever. And Brock Lesnar doesn't seem like the kind of guy who gives a fuck about what you say. He's just going to throw it. Like, you watch him, he just slings people. He's so strong. That could have been why we never saw it. However, a prime Batista and a prime Brock Lesnar, yeah, you signed me up for that. I'm watching that beef, that week's lead up and all that for sure.
Yeah.
But one was on the way out as the other one was ascending.
Yeah.
Because you got to think Brock was on his way out of the company after Mania 20. And that's when Batista started getting that singles kind of push. Like, they were starting to hint, man, he's going to want to leave the group at some point. He's going to want to leave the group. And obviously, in the Elimination Chamber, you seen him get screwed. He goes into the Rumble, wins it, and then the rest is history. Thumbs down, puts Hunter through a table. So, I mean, I think it could have been something if Brock had stayed. But it would have looked a lot, but I think the company would have looked a lot different had he stayed that whole time and not left for the UFC. But that would have been a really cool idea nonetheless.
Yeah, you're right. He was I don't know, after that horrible match with Goldberg at WrestleMania.
And there was just it was a good build-up too between Goldberg and Lesnar, but the match just did not deliver whatsoever.
The only good thing about that match was that Austin was
Found
the referee.
out
That's
that they,
the only good thing.
Yeah, because once the fans found out that neither one was re-signing, they just the whole arena just turned against both of them.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, have you ever seen a Goldberg match where you were just like, man, that was great?
Yes.
Never. Never. I mean, like, you see some.
Trying to think of one WCW, maybe.
Squash match.
Not really, though. Like, because everything about Goldberg was just real quick impact.
Mm-hmm.
You know, do some cool moves and then move on. Stop, AC. Hold on, y'all.
Mm-mm.
That's why we would have said Goldberg and Ultimate Warrior would have been a dream match.
I mean,
I think we've talked about that before, actually.
Yeah, we did.
Oh yeah.
So which one? That's a good question before we move on. Ultimate Warrior versus Goldberg. Who was the worst? Like in the ring, on the mat.
I gotta say Warrior, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say Warrior as well.
Goldberg get you hype with the spear and the jackhammer.
Not to mention his entrance too.
And then freaking splash.
Yeah.
He was cool for the kids. Like, he got the kids hype.
Yeah.
Both of them did, but the Warrior was just really boring for me.
Mm-hmm.
They said he was like just one of the stiffest wrestlers ever.
Oh yeah.
And, I mean, and Andrew's probably gonna say Goldberg because I mean he grew up in that golden era as well. But I mean he's a hater of Warrior and Goldberg, so it doesn't matter.
Well, Andrew's mad because Goldberg speared Shawn Michaels at one time, and he's trying to collect the bounty.
See, I don't even remember that, but here's why I say Goldberg. Like hear me out. Because they put the strap on this guy over and over and over, and he brought nothing to the table other than his entrance. Nothing he did was fun. William Regal exposed him, like just beautifully. I have never saw Goldberg in a match and thought this is going to be cool. But when Warrior and Hogan fought, even though the ending was completely trash, where he splashed him, whatever, but the lead up to that, I was excited to watch Warrior and Hogan. Like, that was really cool. I never have I been like, oh, cool, Goldberg's fighting somebody. This is going to be exciting. Goldberg was ass. Doesn't deserve any titles. So crazy that he got where he was. Warrior too, don't get me wrong, but Goldberg was worse.
I only had one Goldberg match that I was actually excited for, but I was like still freshman year of high school at the time. And that was the World Heavyweight Championship between Triple H and Goldberg. Just like the build-up, like if Triple H wins, Goldberg's out of WWE. If Goldberg wins, he's the new champion. And the build-up was actually good, and the match was okay, but I get what you're saying.
Goldberg's debut was legit, though. You can't say his debut wasn't legit. That had you hype, bro.
You talking about his debut in WWF?
Yeah, his WWE debut was pretty dope. Like, he just came in and just started wrecking shit.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, okay.
So I actually got two dream matches that would have been fun to watch.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
So one Prime Kurt Angle versus Prime Bret Hart.
Yeah.
That would have been a really good one.
Come out of retirement to do that, too, and he didn't want to.
Yeah, that still would have been fun to watch. I mean, like, both guys were really good at what they did. You had an Olympic gold medalist wrestler, then obviously the excellence of execution. I mean, that would have been a solid match from beginning to end.
Yeah.
And then the second one, I know they fought at WrestleMania 29, but both of them in their primes, and because Taker took the spot from Triple H, I would have loved to see Reign of Terror prime Triple H or versus Lesnar, like even at Survivor Series when they were both champion.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what just happened.
I don't know either. But you sound better.
He said me either.
So here's one that I think would have been like just I'm talking about prime. I'm talking about a whole, build up and all that. A prime Chris Jericho and a prime Jeff Jarrett. Like that shit would have been epic. I would have laughed the whole time. And Jarrett could do it in the ring. Let's not pretend like Jeff Jarrett was bad in the ring because he was not. Like he was a technician. He was really good. Could you imagine the mouthing back and forth between Jericho and Jarrett? Man, I'd love to have seen that. Jarrett does not get enough credit for what he did in this industry.
Not to mention, there'd be a few good comedic spots in that match too.
Yeah, you should get prime. You should get prime AJ Styles and HBK.
Oh,
that would have been great. As far as but AJ Styles was boring on the mic, but Shawn Michaels could have carried that through.
Yeah, but the match itself, like they didn't even need no build up. The match would have been perfect.
The match would have been 5-star.
Oh, easily. Yeah. I mean, like you throw TNA AJ Styles in, like even Shawn Michaels' second prime when he was in the Ruthless Aggression era. Oof, that's still 5 stars either way.
For sure. For sure. We would have saw AJ go for the phenomenal forearm and end up with a fucking super kick. And then
the same way Shelton went through it.
That shit would have been great.
What's crazy is Shelton was like, yeah, it didn't hurt. Like, I just knew how to sell it really good. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. When you took that Sweet Chin music, that ref could have counted to 100 and I wouldn't have seen you kick out.
I remember when I was a kid and I saw Sweet Chin music for the first time in that loud, I was like, God, you all right, buddy? You good? I mean, and I think they carried whoever it was out on a stretcher too. The whole thing was this. I was like, God, he had knocked him out. That was great. So you want to do the building a faction next?
If you want, we can.
What y'all think?
I'm down.
Yeah, let's do that. What spot do you want to start? Well, okay, so we're creating everybody's picking their own faction. So you get your mouthpiece guy, which is pretty much the guy who's gonna talk all the smack, do this and that. Can be a wrestler, can be a manager. You have your technician, so like your technical wrestler, your guy who gets down and dirty, does all the crazy stuff. You got the all-around guy. He can do everything. He's good on the mic. He's good in the ring. He can do everything. And then you get a big man. But if someone picks somebody has to go back and find somebody else to fill that spot.
All right. Let's start with the mouthpiece.
Ooh.
Who's going first?
First.
Who, me?
No, I said, who do you want to go first? This is your show.
I'll go first.
Okay, for sure.
Mouthpiece? Give me Jeff Jarrett.
Oh, good. That's a good one. Well, I was just talking about him.
Give me Double J. I love heel Double J.
Yeah, heel Double J was the best.
Dude, piss you off, smack you with a guitar, bro. That's over with. Like,
all right, hold on 1 second.
Right there.
That's a great bridge into that. But that's a great pick, no doubt at all. I think that's one of the best ever. Terry,
I'm gonna go back to the golden era on this one. Because this guy just knew how to get under people's skin, or he knew how to get them on his side, no matter if he was heel or face. I'm gonna go with Roddy Piper.
Roddy Piper.
That's good.
Yeah,
I can mess with that.
Yeah, Roddy Piper, pretty good. He was Roddy Piper was overrated in the ring, but he could work the mic for sure. He was one of the best to ever do it, way better than Jesse Ventura, who was just asked at everything. James.
So mouthpiece, man, I'm gonna have to go with probably an all-time classic. I mean, this dude was delivering promos like the rent was due on a daily basis. I'm gonna have to go with Ric Flair.
Okay,
for sure.
That's dope.
Yeah, can't really go wrong with Ric Flair. One of the best ever on the mic, if not the. Can't argue with that. For me, I went manager because that's where my head went with the mouthpiece, speaking for the group and all that. And I was so split between Jimmy Hart and Bobby the Brain Heenan. Like it took me down to the end, but Nobody did it like the Brain did it. So give me Bobby the Brain Heenan on the mouthpiece, bro. This guy could piss you off, get you on his side, get you to beat his ass, and then pay for his meal all in one promo. Like nobody did it like Bobby the Brain did it. So for me, give me Bobby the Brain Heenan. But that was that dude.
Okay. That's not bad. Everybody started off pretty good.
Agreed. No crazy talk yet.
Yeah, I mean, hell, I was torn between Ric Flair and Paul Heyman.
Yeah. Paul Heyman was definitely up there on my list, but as much as I love Paul Heyman, the Brain did it better. He just didn't do it as long.
Cool.
Now,
So we're gonna go with Tech.
The reason Heyman is so great, he did it at ECW, he did it at WCW, and he did it at WWF.
Paul E dangerously.
Doesn't matter what era it was, he excelled at what he did. Paul Heyman's the GOAT. I won't deny that, but I like him better.
Oh yeah, no crazy talk whatsoever on that.
Yep. So now, technician.
So technician, you can use a technical wrestler. He just likes to get his hands dirty and really mess stuff up. Give me Benoit, bro. Straight chops, crossface, sharpshooter, everything.
Okay, technician Benoit. No crazy talk there. He's one of the greatest to ever do it. Terry.
I'm gonna go with the Olympic gold medalist, Kurt Angle.
That was my backup pick.
Damn, that was my number one. I ain't even gonna lie.
No crazy talk at all. I like it. So you got to go to your backup, James.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thankfully glad that I did have a backup for this one because this man had rivalries with both Kurt Angle and Benoit and delivered on both of them. And, man, they got nothing but amazing things to say about this dude. My backup technician is definitely going to have to be Eddie Guerrero.
Asshole. Man. Just couldn't let me freaking have it. Damn. He wasn't even going to fit. He wasn't going to be a technician for me. He was going to be the all-around guy because he could do everything.
That he could. He could.
Backup. So for me, I'm going to go, as much as I don't like the guy, but when it comes to technician, he was second to none. Give me Bret the Hitman Hart. Nobody was better in the ring than the Hitman. Just didn't like the guy. So for me, technician, definitely going to be Bret the Hitman Hart.
Okay.
Alrighty, it is time for the all-around.
So my all-around backup, because James stole my one, is not the strongest on the mic, but does everything else perfectly fine. Give me AJ Styles.
Oof.
Yeah, no crazy talk there. I think he's decent on the mic. I just don't think he was going to hold himself at 18K, is what I'm saying. But then again, not many could. So, no crazy talk there. AJ Styles all around. Terry.
Now, this one was one that kind of confused me for a while because when you say all around, meaning he had like mic skills, he could be a technical wrestler, high flyer, combination, whatever. Dang, I guess I misunderstood that one because this guy had basically zero mic skills.
Rey Mysterio?
No. Well, I guess if I had to pick one now, because originally I was going to pick Brock Lesnar, but he was garbage on the mic when he.
But his mouthpiece was perfect, though, so that would make sense.
I mean, if you accept it, I was going to use that one because I know he could do stuff off the. I mean, he didn't do many
shooting star presses, bro. Yeah, Brock Lesnar.
Bro was 290 pounds and doing that kind of shit.
Lesnar, I do. He can do everything, and the fact that he knew he wasn't good on the mic and hired Paul Heyman to do that is just more testament to what he did.
Yeah,
I accept it.
All right, I'll go with Lesnar. Okay. And now to you, Andrew.
James.
Let's see. Oh, man, this is definitely tough all around. Fuck.
Bring the boy in here with his phone then. Okay.
Let's see. I mean, he really didn't do much high-flying stuff, especially after he did a top rope move against Batista at SummerSlam. But growing up watching him, he was doing a lot of all around stuff. He was good on the mic. Dude was doing constant freestyles week in, week out. But I'm gonna have to go with John Cena for all around.
I mean, 17-time world champion. Can't really dispute too much about him being an all around everything. The all-time leading person in championship. So yeah, I accept John Cena for sure. For me, this should be no surprise. Give me the Heartbreak Kid.
Yeah. I wanted to steal him from you, but it was like, you know what? He's your favorite.
Bro. He would have kicked you out, bro. You would have got straight kicked out.
That would have been a risk willing to take.
Hey, I had a backup. My backup was Chris Jericho. Ooh. So Chris Jericho was a do-it-all person too. But for me, HBK, man, on the mic, in the ring, intro, build up. I mean, like, who did it better than the Heartbreak Kid? Nobody. That's who. So give me, and shout out to the 60 people watching right now. We appreciate it on the comeback episode. That's really cool.
Hell yeah.
Give me the Heartbreak Kid, bro. Bar none, the GOAT, just all around.
And you got the two biggest enemies in your faction too.
Yeah. That kind of comes with the fact that I like HBK, and then all those matches surround him. Like, yeah, Bret Hart was really good at that.
It's gonna implode from the inside out.
But it was true though. Like, as much as like he was the enemy, like you watch Bret Hart in the ring, you watching that whole match because you knew he was going to break it down, and it was really, really going to be good. Bret Hart should have had many more 5-star matches. But if you look at who they paired him with, Greg the Hammer Valentine and British Bulldog, and like they couldn't sell it like they should. But when you put him in the ring with Shawn Michaels, all of a sudden 5-star matches.
Oh yeah. I mean, hell, British Bulldog literally had to get carried in that SummerSlam matchup.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Bret Hart was all about the business, and he never really. I mean, like. You never saw Bret Hart versus Ric Flair. It was Bret Hart versus British Bulldog, Bret Hart versus Greg the Hammer Valentine, and shit nobody cared about. You got his phone? Tell Will to stay in there with him and lock both doors. All right. So we got one more. The Enforcer. The big man.
Get one back from the Attitude Era. Give me Masked Kane.
Oh
yeah.
Who breaks the record for most eliminations in the Rumble? That's the Kane I want.
That's why he asked us for our favorite
Singlet Masked Kane. That's who I want.
That's a good one.
Yeah. No crazy here.
Who's your big man now?
Well, it was that one. I could see why you asked for our favorite wrestlers.
Oh no, that's because I added your favorite wrestlers to the intro.
No, that's good. So I'm gonna go to WCW on this one, and this would have been like right around when the Attitude Era was starting, before he even came over. Now we know him when he came to WWF as the Big Show. However, the version I like best, and I think that could probably stand face to face with Kane, just because of how he gave no shits, it would have been the Giant in WCW.
Captain Insano.
Yeah.
Look, the Giant in WCW was a big deal. He fought Hulk Hogan for the title. He held the title. He did hold the big gold before he jumped to WWE. Yeah, for sure, I accept that. Like, Paul White does not get the credit he deserves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, James.
I'm going to go a bit too cliche here and just go with what this man did, what he did best during his time with Evolution, because he was, hands down, without a doubt, the perfect enforcer for that group, Batista. Martin Jindrak.
Hey, he was supposed to be the original guy, bro.
He was supposed to be. Yeah, I ain't going to deny that. But yeah, Batista, that man was made for the enforcer role.
Oh, for sure. I thought you were going with Snuka. But
he was going A-Train.
But cool. Yeah, we still got plenty of stuff. Got a couple other things that we're gonna talk about too. But for me, and I'm thinking about as a whole, from beginning to end, from when I started watching to today. For me,
King Kong Bundy.
the greatest enforcer of all time would be Big Van Vader. So you talk about a brutal guy. Even when you talk to wrestlers who wrestled him back in the day, they're like he was brutal, he was vicious. People didn't want to step in the ring with him because he was going to hurt them. And they knew it was going to happen. They couldn't do nothing to him. I was watching somebody talk about him. They're like, nothing you could do. I mean, it's not like you could just impose your will on this guy. He was just so massive, and he would just like hit you for real. And so for me, Vader, bro, that Vader Sting rivalry put Sting on the map.
So who do you think has the best team?
The best team.
Yeah, who do you think has the best faction?
I mean, Vader, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart. I mean, me. I mean, you should pick you because you picked it.
No, I was curious.
picked-
I was just
you
curious
picked-
what everybody thought.
You picked the two worst enemies. You're going to have guys butting heads. You got commotion within the faction already by having Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, but Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Vader. I mean, and then you got Bobby the Brain to keep them all cool. I don't know, man. That's a cool ass faction, in my opinion.
I mean, if Marty Jannetty could have kept Shawn Michaels under control.
I mean, James basically chose Evolution.
Only 2 out of the 4 guys.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Some biased showing.
I mean, he just added John Cena to Evolution, is what he did. That's exactly how that went down. And man, that would have been crazy.
Yeah, because Eddie has a bit of history with 2 out of the 3 guys because he worked with Batista trying to become a tag team champion and world heavyweight champion. I'm pretty sure he worked with Ric Flair at one point. I just can't think of when.
I think James has the most star power in his faction. With Ric Flair, Batista, John Cena, and Eddie Guerrero, definitely the most star power of any of the 4 that we put together today. I think mine would have been fun just because Bobby the Brain and Shawn Michaels together. I mean, just sign me up for that. And Vader just out there wrecking people. I chose Bret Hart specifically for the technician. But you out there with Chris Benoit, you know what I'm saying? Like that's going to be one of the best to begin with, right? And then you got Jeff Jarrett out there, right? Jeff Jarrett and Chris Benoit would not have had a fun faction together, but could you imagine an enforcer, like you said, Kane, and then Chris Benoit just coming at you coked out of his mind, and then bam, guitar right to the head.
AJ Styles is just like, I'm just here to wrestle.
Yeah, I mean that would be all these factions would be fun for sure.
Oh yeah.
I just think James has the most star power in his, top to bottom. Terry, you had some too. They stole a couple of yours, but I think all 4 would be fun. I would love to see all 4 of these factions in wrestling at the same time.
Yeah. I'd honestly like to see a 4-way kind of like tornado tag match at a Survivor Series.
Dude, that's too many freaking people, dog. That's like 16 people. That's too much going on.
Brandon's faction would have injured people. I mean,
oh yeah, we team wreck shit. We're team wreck shit.
All right, well,
Coked out of his mind. Kane throwing people off of stages. Yeah, yours would have been insane.
Jeff Jarrett's hitting people with guitars.
all right, so we would probably need like a bracket thing, like a semifinal, then a final. So let's say Andrew's faction versus my faction. We just got to make sure they're all unlocked on the video game.
But the bad thing is Andrew's kind of down a person. He'd have to have like a sub to come in because
he's got Bobby the Brain. Well, I mean, if that's the case and I had to choose a wrestler, let me throw in Jericho. He's as good on the mic as anybody.
Damn, bro. They all got some history. Like 2 out of the 4 Canadians, too.
Oh, yeah. No, like 3.
Wait, he's got
Jericho.
Canadian. Jericho's a Canadian.
Yeah. Jericho and Hart.
Vader wasn't a Canadian, neither was
No.
HBK.
Okay, yeah. You're right. Brain fart.
Canadians make the best
He was
wrestlers.
on that Team USA Survivor Series against Team Canada. When
Oh,
that,
dude, Canada's
when that was
probably
actually
whooping
Kurt
ass,
Angle's
dude.
theme song that they were playing before Kurt Angle even got there.
Bro, Canada's team kick ass, bro. Like, if you go through the Stu Hart dungeon, bro, you legit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Straight up.
That's why Christian was so cool. He was at the what's up, Dominic? How we doing, buddy?
Edge did too. Edge
Or
did too,
hell,
last-
who was Lex Luger's trainer when he was coming up? Like this dude was having Lex in like a pool of his own sweat.
bro. People
That's a torture chamber right there.
People sleep on Lex Luger, bro. I know he did a lot of stupid stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But like, dude, he was legit, bro.
He was.
Lex Luger was that dude, bro. He wasn't like the greatest on the mic, but he was cool, man. I like Lex.
Oh
What?
yeah.
I love Lex Luger, man. Like people do sleep on him. He was a mega star, whether you like him or not. But what about Brotherly Love? Y'all know him?
Yeah.
Brother Love?
Yeah.
That's what I said James looked like.
I love you.
I mean, I could make that happen. I'm still in El Paso, and then I'm going to Tampa next week. Come back looking like burnt as fuck.
That's right. Get you a tennis racket with pink over it.
And a white tux.
So Brotherly Love was just a way to make fun of Jim Cornette. I don't know if y'all knew
I
that.
love Jim Cornette though. Like he don't get enough credit either. He talks a lot of shit, but I love Jim Cornette.
He's a goat. He's a top 5 wrestling personality of all time.
He don't give a shit what he talk about anybody. He don't give no F's at all.
He don't.
At all. He talks shit about everybody.
I love when he would have his like his little Midnight Express and then like the Rock and Roll Express be getting the best of him. Then bam, Ricky Morton took a goddamn tennis racket to the eye. Jim Cornette was awesome, bro.
Dude,
awesome.
even when he was in TNA later as like an authority figure, he was cool. Like a lot of those vets and stuff, it worked. He was better as a manager, but I liked him as an authority figure too.
Yeah, for sure. Jim Cornette is a top 5 wrestling personality. If you talk about everything he did, productions and all, yeah.
And nobody ever talks about him, bro. Like when it comes to managers and stuff, nobody talks about Cornette at all.
Because he did such a tirade against the WWE so many times that people are just mad at him for it, but can't really be mad at him for wanting to promote his own product. Like that's crazy. He should be able to want to promote it. He's one of the GOATs. I put him and Vince McMahon in the same era of owners of all time. I put him above Ted Turner as an owner because Ted Turner took WCW after Crockett made it great.
All Ted Turner did was just spend the money and get the big names.
Yeah.
That's all he did, and he was giving out contracts to all the big names. Like, oh, hey, you can come in whenever you see fit.
All he did was what Vince did. The only difference is Vince poached everybody out of the different territories and ruined the territory system.
Right.
And then Ted Turner's like, well, shit, I got more money. I'm about to buy everybody.
Right.
I'm about to buy everybody, but also give them more time off because Vince is running them ragged.
The coolest thing, bro, like he got a lot of big names. Like them getting Hogan was cool. But like on the first episode of Nitro, when Luger walked out, like when he was literally contract expired, nobody knew anything. Like that's when kayfabe was like a thing. Everybody's like, "Oh shit, this dude's here. Why is he here?" It's the same thing when they had like Rick Rude pop up on an episode of Raw and Nitro at the same time because they were taped.
Let me tell you how, so they taped Raw on a Saturday, and then his contract expired on a Sunday. And he literally signed with WCW that Monday and appeared on their program that night.
That was crazy.
It was crazy.
And them go back to live gave them such an advantage because they were like, man, why would I watch something that's taped? I could watch them live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need to go back to that, though, keeping everything a secret.
No, that's too much. Social media, then that's up. I wish it was still kayfabe like that. Now it's like all the fans think they're bookers and stuff. They're like, "Oh, that's a bad move." It's like, come on, bro.
Or they're like believing any rage bait that they see online. It's like when Bubba Ray goes on to this TikToker's account and he's like, "Hey, for everybody that really thinks that me and Devon are beefing, we have been like this since day fucking one. So anything you're seeing online where it's like, yeah, he and I are beefing. No, we just got different things going on. He's running his own gym. I'm still part of WWE. We still talk every now and again, but we're still like that. I'm like, well, that's definitely good to hear because I mean, you were one of, if not the best tag team during the Attitude Era.
Bro. I know everybody says Road Warriors, but dude, Team 3D's right there.
Oh yeah.
So all right, so that's fine. Before we take our commercial break here, let's talk about that. I want to know. So we brought up Road Warriors, LOD, whatever you want to call them, and 3D or Dudley Boys, whatever you want to call them. Who do you think is number one? Brandon.
Man, that's hard, bro. Because it's like you can't deny. Like LOD pretty much paved the way for a lot of the other great tag teams that came after them. They were like the original Team Kick Ass, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like don't take nothing from nobody. They were always in cool storylines. You remember when they came back in the late '90s and the freaking New Age Outlaws like freaking steal the belts and they run away in the car and all that crazy stuff. I think like what makes me almost want to give Team 3D the edge though is that they were innovative in their own way too, man. Being one of the pioneers behind the TLC match, coming up in a different way with ECW, making like the violent style of wrestling popular. They don't have a terrible moveset. It's two completely different eras, so it's not like they came up at the exact same time. But if I'm gonna be honest. Give me a. Damn, that's freaking tough. You're gonna catch flack either way. Give me the Road Warriors, but it's like by like a freaking inch, bro. It's not by little to anything.
Is it just between those two, or
I think that's the comp. I mean, unless one of y'all thinks there's a team that's like in the same spectrum.
Hello, the Usos. Nah, they're not. They're good, but they're not even close to that echelon.
So I would have to go with the Road Warriors as well. Now I didn't think there was a match that ever happened until I YouTubed it, and there actually was a match that happened. And I think this team would have been fairly close because they were another one who could throw down with anybody. Wasn't not really intimidating. That would have been the Steiner brothers.
Yeah,
so they actually had a match.
I like them. They were
LOD.
Nice. Intensity-wise, they could match them.
I put the Steiner brothers in the elite tag teams of all time. You could mention those with those two, and I'd be okay with that.
But overall, I got to go with LOD.
But I think the Dudley Boys are above the Steiner Bros, though, just off accomplishments alone. Win multiple tag team titles in every single company: TNA, ECW, WWE, like New Japan, like accolades alone, bro. Innovative, like they did it all.
Well, excuse the Steiners for not wanting to move everywhere and take titles from everybody. They were loyalists.
WWE.
Daddy left his tag team partner.
I mean, hold on. Steiner Brothers went into WWF during the Golden Era and took the title, so it's not that like they didn't toss something.
But
the only difference between that, and then we'll get James's between them two, is the Dudley Boys did it longer because the Steiner Brothers broke up for Scott Steiner's solo run. So that's why Dudley Boys would go above them for me. But as far as greatness, that's too close to call. James, Road Warriors or Dudleys?
I mean, like Brandon said, it's too close to call, but I'm going to have to go with the Dudleys mainly because I grew up watching them and just because of like their innovation and their introduction to us of the TLC and everything. I mean, like I said, Brandon said it best. It is just too close to call. Like it is neck and neck between those two guys, but I'm just going with the team that I grew up watching, and they were just so much fun to watch.
Dang, James, you're making us look really young right now.
I'm 35.
Yeah, well.
So for me, Brandon said watching the Dudleys come up through different companies, but so did the Road Warriors. I mean, they came up through NWA, and then they went to Ring of Honor, and then they went to New Japan, and then they came to WCW, and then they went to WWF.
Ooh.
So I don't believe this as close as you do. I don't think the Dudley Boys belong in the conversation with Road Warriors. I don't think they're there. I think
That's a crazy talk, bro.
talk. The Road Warriors did it. They were the innovators. Without the Road Warriors, there is no Dudley Boys. Now, Dudley Boys versus the Steiners, that's a better comparison there. I think the Steiner brothers were
better comparison, yeah, but I mean that doesn't mean they're not there.
I think the Steiner brothers were every bit as good in the ring as the Dudley Boys, but the Dudley Boys were better on the mic and they were more entertaining. So that's why the Dudley Boys get the nod over the Steiners for me because of that. But to say that the Dudley Boys belong in the class with the GOATs is crazy talk, in my opinion.
No, it's not.
It's not.
I mean,
hold up, bro.
The Hardy brothers are really cool. By the way, shout out to the 81 people watching for the return show.
Hell yeah.
I love the Hardy Boys. I do. The Hardy Boys don't belong in the conversation with any of these tag teams we just said, though.
23-time tag team champions, bro. 23.
Okay. That's fantastic. Let's go ahead and let's
come on, bro. Like you
across all three of the major companies in wrestling.
But let's just use the same logic. We said like the thing about John Cena, 17-time champion means he can fill whatever role pretty much. Ain't nobody touching them in titles, bro. Like that's an automatic bid for me. Like I know
that was across ECW, WCW, and WWE.
And that's not even including TNA, New Japan, and everything.
Yeah.
Like in longevity, I get it. Like some teams weren't together as long, and I'm not gonna hold that against them. But I feel like you can't like not elevate the Dudleys 23-time tag team champions, bro. Like that's insane. Like that's
almost
great.
Half of those are from the WWE alone.
I'll tell you what, if the Dudleys reunite and go to AEW and get their tag team championship over there for 20,
I think they do.
Okay, at that point, Tony Khan is literally reaching.
Well, they were talking about them coming out of retirement to have a match with the Hardys again too, because the Hardys are still going. They need to hang it up. They've been done. That's
yeah.
Jeff does an ugly swanton. Like they feel all that now, bro.
Oh,
like
yeah.
There's no buffer. They feel the whole swanton.
You got to pay for all the legal fees.
Back in their heyday, Jeff could literally do a swanton halfway across the ring. Now they got to be like 2 feet in front of the turnbuckle for him to hit it.
And I know they're professionals, but like, bro, just imagine being on like a 20-foot ladder and doing some crazy stuff like that. Come on, bro. Like that's insane.
29-time tag team champions for the Road Warriors over all promotions. And there was no WWE, WCW, and ECW major promotions available when they were coming up. I just tell you they're not the same. These two are not the same as much as, and I love the Dudley Boys. And if we wanted to name Dudley Boys number 2 of all time, I'd probably be okay with that. Like I mean, like I would be like, okay.
But to say they're not in the same bubble is kind of crazy.
They're not in the same bubble.
I think they are
not the same. They are in the Steiner Brothers bubble for sure. They are in the new bubble, the Hardy bubble. But it's Road Warriors and everybody else. So it's a little distorted for you to be able to read history and not see it through the
No, I get that, and I respect it.
Right? It's 2 different perspectives what we're seeing.
Yeah.
So,
I still pick the Road Warriors at 1. I just think that the threshold between them two is a bit closer than what we're saying. I'm not saying they're like this, but it's like that. Like it's not like here. Like they're right there, bro.
I say Road Warriors here, and then down here you got, your Dudleys, your Steiner brothers, your Hardys.
It's about that close right there.
That's crazy talk.
That is not crazy talk.
Fuck it. Let's throw the Berserkers in there too. Let's throw Snuka.
Bushwhackers. Oh no, let's throw the Headbangers in there. Andrew likes the Headbangers.
So one of the dumbest tag teams I ever saw. I'm glad you brought that up. I watched the Headbangers come out. I thought, man, this is the goofiest, dumbest shit. And then one day I look and they're winning the titles. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
That was the scene where they had like all their teeth knocked out and all the piercings on their face, right?
they didn't have their teeth knocked out, but they had all the piercings. They were wearing skirts and Marilyn Manson shirts and all that. And,
Okay.
Yeah. And they were just, they won a title. So credit to them for being they were over. That's where I'm trying to go with this. It was crazy to me, but when the Headbangers came out, those crowds went crazy. I was like, how is it?
Because they could relate. It's like 90s grunge in a tag
Yeah.
team.
I guess so, but they weren't over. They really were.
What's
crazy
that?
to me.
I know what your favorite faction is, though. That one with Kerrigan and them. What's that? What's that
What is
faction?
it called? The Misfits or something like that? Hey, look, I could see. Listen, if the Misfits had Jimmy Snuka as their leader, I could see it. So all right. Before we take our only commercial break, real quick, if you had to do top whatever, where do you place Jimmy Snuka, Brandon?
Outside of the top 75?
So top 100, but
Yeah,
outside
maybe 99. Maybe 99.
Okay, top 100. Cool. Terry.
NA.
Not applicable.
No, he's applicable. He was somebody. We all know him.
The only reason I put him there is just, historically, he's still a historical wrestling figure. He's just ass.
Yeah.
He only had one good highlight, and that was it.
I say the same thing as you, Brandon. Give me between 75 and 100 for me. He's definitely a top 100 all time if you look at it. But to say he's top 75 is just I don't believe it.
That's beyond crazy talk.
And it's like no matter who, like all the guys coming up through the minor leagues, like NXT and stuff, they show up, they're already better than him.
Yeah, but he had that killer look. Oh
no, that's because of the coconut. He ain't recovered from that coconut shot that Roddy Piper gave him.
James, where do you put him?
Definitely top 100, and he's at 100.
Hey, look, we got him at 99. Ain't no crazy talk here.
If you put him on an ESPN 300 for college football, he'd be at 301.
That's right.
Maybe.
Just missed the cut.
Hell, if you were to do an NFL power ranking, he'd be number 33.
He's like, nah. 33 is too high for me, bro.
There's only 32 teams in the NFL.
Community.
Yeah, exactly. He needs to be like 80 something. In the NFL never get to 80 something.
You hear me?
What?
I said Snuka's the Vanderbilt of the wrestling community.
That should be a meme that we should send in the chat.
It should be. I did. I sent one. Did y'all not see that one I did where I made Jimmy Snuka's pants Vanderbilt?
No, I didn't see that.
You didn't see that? It's in the Alliance chat.
Look,
now I gotta see this.
Yeah. I put it in there. I'll find it again. Hold on, I'll find it real quick and then I'll push it out. It was funny. I used Grok to do it. I was just like, hey Grok, can you give me a Jimmy Snuka with Vanderbilt pants? And sure enough, man, he gave me a good one too. I just gotta find it. Perfect time I'll find it during commercial. You're watching Legends of the Squared Circle only on the Villain Media Network. Welcome back to Legends of the Squared Circle. Not really sure where Terry went, but welcome back, Terry.
Well, I clicked on the damn picture and it kicked me out of the group.
Damn.
God.
Yes, the goat.
That's too freaking funny.
The freaking goat.
He's on his way to Sam's
He's
Club
making
right now to
V.
print
He's
this
supposed to be
poster.
making V's. He's trying to make V's.
I mean, I agree with Terry. He's a perfect representation of what Vanderbilt would be in old school WWE.
Oof.
One big move, like the upset of Alabama, and then back to obscurity where you came from. Alabama's going to beat them by 100 this year. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you. It's going to be nasty. But anyway, we're not here to talk about college football. I got a couple more, but this is one that Brandon wanted to do to bring down the tone of the show because we were having too much fun. But no, for sure. 83 people watching. Thank you so much, man. We haven't been on in a while. So to see this many people watching us from the rejump, I appreciate each and every one of you. For sure. I think I know who you're gonna say, Brandon, but go ahead.
For me, it's Eddie and Benoit because mainly they were a package deal, man. Eddie was just like the life of the party. Everybody wanted to be like him. Everybody tuned in just to see him. And for it being all of a sudden the way it did, and just it killed a lot of people, including it pretty much took his friend out as well. The difference is, like, I don't know, for me, like, it sucked more because I wanted to be like him. But the thing with me was that killed me was like, dude, you just turn into Monday Night Raw and the freaking thing pops up. I'm like, well, that must be cap. Like, that can't be right. That's fake. And I'm like, whoa, like, that's not good. So they go and they do an entire memorial show, and obviously a lot of things come out after, which I still don't think they have all of the facts. But being like a teenager and that being someone that I looked up to, and then them just to be up and off all the picture all of a sudden, and now they're not there. And then there's a lot of controversy and things like that. So that really sucked for me. But between, like, anybody, it's between those two. Like, those two, I feel like suck the worst. But there are plenty of other ones that people could cite for being like a sucky death.
Alrighty. Just so everybody knows, I did have Brandon pegged at Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero as 1A and 1B. I even knew that he was going to do 2 just because, like, we know each other so well at this point. We talk all the time. James.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to agree and say that it was Eddie Guerrero because it was just like out of nowhere. They were getting ready for a show in Minnesota and everything like that, and the second that everybody gets there, or even the morning, everybody's just like, "Yo, did you hear what happened? No, what happened? Eddie Guerrero passed away," and even Chavo said it best. He was on the 5th floor, and he could hear Chris Benoit screaming all the lobby. I'm talking like howling. Like, this dude could probably ripped off that Chester Bennington 17-second scream from giving up. But I mean, he had so much to give, and 38 years young. I mean, that is just way too soon in a business like this.
Mm-hmm. And to say all the stuff he overcame, bro. Like, having to leave the business for freaking addiction and coming back and hitting the freaking pinnacle, being the world champion, and still being relevant. And I'm pretty sure he would have got another world title reign there not that long, to be honest, and maybe another year or so. He, like you said, he had a lot to freaking give. So seeing him die like that, like, really, and the thing, both of them were about to probably get a world title push again.
Oh, yeah, and it was definitely going to happen with Eddie during his, like, little team-up with Batista, and I'm sure Batista would have had no problem, but at the same time, like, to have those kind of bragging rights, like, yo, I wrestled Eddie, and man!
Because Batista was about to go down with injury, and they were about to they had the vacant title a few months after that. Mm-hmm. So it's crazy that him and Benoit were both going to get world title pushes because he was going to get the ECW title, and he was probably going to get a shot at Big Gold again. So
yeah,
for sure. Like Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit both just sucked. I love me some Eddie Guerrero though. Terry.
Snook.
Well, I'm gonna go with the more recent one, not that guy. um, I'm going with a guy who basically every gimmick that they put on him, he embraced it, he owned it, and he always had the crowd, won the crowd over. And he was another one that died too young, and he was like making his comeback for who knows how long. I think it was close to a year being out, and he was coming back. Then all of a sudden, just next you know, he passed away. And I'm gonna go with Bray Wyatt
Mm, that's a
because
good.
I felt with him with this comeback, he was basically gonna be the new face of the company, carry the company on his shoulders, and take it to the very next level, whatever it may be. But it seemed like it hasn't been the same since he passed.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I mean, like if they were to have brought back the whole like new face of fear thing when he was battling Undertaker at WrestleMania, like man, that would have given him a serious push because to do that kind of spider crawl and you got a big old gut hanging out, like dude, what yoga classes are you taking? I want to sign up for that shit.
So yeah, I agree. Bray Wyatt's death was very sad. It was very sudden. Undertaker had just passed the torch as Big Evil to him, and he was going to go the next generation being the new Undertaker. They did a whole.
It was on the anniversary of Raw.
Yeah.
And it just, yeah, it was sad.
And ironically, of all people, against LA Knight too.
Yeah. So for me, mine was a long time ago. I remember being real sad about Eddie, Bray Wyatt, and Ultimate Warrior, and all that. But the one that really hit me was back in 1993, Andre the Giant's death. Not only did I love him as a wrestler, but like my favorite movie of all time is The Princess Bride. It's just so perfect, and his role in there is so funny. He was a funny guy, and he was a big guy, and I don't know. It just kind of, he was young. I think he was 46. You know, and he had just attended his own father's funeral, and I think it was just too much for him. You know, he lived in North Carolina. He was born in France, bought a farm in North Carolina, stayed most of his time on that. So that's really cool. So for me, it was Andre the Giant.
I think, and for me, and I mean, not everybody can relate because I mean, this is kind of even before like me and James, but like when you think of death in the wrestling industry, no other name is more synonymous with that than the Von Erichs, bro. That is just the most unfortunate of unfortunate circumstances, man. Great freaking family, man. All athletic, dude. Whether it was Kerry, whether it was Kevin, whether it was David, and it was just like a domino effect. It's like once David died, and I think it was like 85, 86, it was just a domino effect every couple of years. Mm-hmm. But I think the one that really stuck at the end was freaking Kerry because Kerry was like, he went to WWF, ended up winning the IC title. But this is after he had the motorcycle accident, had to freaking take part of his freaking amputate half his leg.
Yep.
He freaking went. I'm just like, dude, I don't know how Kevin, he made it through all that. All of his brothers, he is the last one left. But, you know, he's got his own family, his own kids. He lives in Hawaii now, and his kids are freaking wrestling on the big scene now, like AEW and all kind of stuff like that. So when I think of death in the wrestling industry, like, that's just like the saddest story to me.
Oh yeah. I mean, I even saw the movie too, and it was like, you know, he was real dead set on becoming an Olympian, but unfortunately, what because of happened, he had to come back home, and then essentially his dad pushed him to be like, no, hey, you're going into the wrestling business, and you're going to be, hopefully, all three of you guys are going to be in the WWE and be champions.
I will say though, they did not. The storytelling in the movie was not fully accurate. Mm-hmm. They made it seem like Fritz, the dad, was like this freaking a-hole that was like pushing them. He wasn't like that at all. They kind of twisted the story a little bit now. But the stuff about how Kerry shot himself at that tree on the family property was true though. And then obviously that's horrific to freaking. I mean, you lose freaking out of 5 kids, you lose freaking 4 of them. And now your freaking mom and Kevin, with his mom's going, his dad's going. He's literally the last one besides his family he has now. So
Yep,
that sucks, man.
Does.
And WC World Class Championship Wrestling back in the day with them, that was good. Like the AWA, WCCW, like the territories and stuff, and that was a good time to watch wrestling.
Oh yeah,
Andrew can probably relate to watching some of that back in the
day. I'll say another one, and like it was part of a big time family, but I mean, man, like we just didn't really, I guess, kind of respect it. I don't know how to really word it, but Owen Hart was definitely an unfortunate one, and like you could see it on everybody's face that they didn't even want to continue the show because it's like, yo, this is a literal fucking crime scene,
and it could have been avoided, bro. They didn't test out that harness.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's why his wife wants absolutely nothing to do with WWE. They don't want him to be they don't want him to use his name, and I don't blame her.
I don't blame her either.
He was so freaking young. It was a stupid accident. It wasn't like a freak accident. It could have been prevented. They didn't even have to do that to start with. Like Owen Hart got screwed.
Oh
like, he had a bright future ahead of him. He was going to be a world champion. Like I think that was just something that was horrible and could have been avoided on many levels.
Oh yeah, and like when you go back and look at like some of the guys coming out, you can see that Steve is just all business. He doesn't care. He's like ripping off his jacket, throwing it to the side so aggressively. Undertaker's like, bro, what the fuck are we doing out here? You know?
And I get it. That's a snap decision you have to make. You don't know he's dead, but you know he's hurt. You got all these people that paid the money to come see a show. I wouldn't want to be in that position either. Because I promise you, he probably went to the talent and said, what do y'all want to do? I think is what happened. That just seems like a Vince McMahon kind of move. And I think they all said they wanted to go on with it. I don't know, but Owen Hart was for sure going to be a world champion. There's no doubt about that. His push was there. He was in the middle of it. And it's sad to see. Owen Hart's death is right up there for me too. Probably right behind Andre the Giant, even more so than Eddie, because as much as I hated that for Eddie, it was self-inflicted. Owen Hart's was a freak accident, right?
When you say self-inflicted, I know what you mean, because that like he wasn't overdosing or nothing.
No, like he was still clean. I think like he was just still having heart problems or something like that.
Maybe based on his decisions. Because that wasn't like on drugs or anything. His heart just gave out.
So, but I mean, his heart gave out because of the massive
prior drug and I would agree.
Yeah, like going through serious withdrawal symptoms and everything like that.
HGH, like all that stuff is bad for you. They probably didn't tell Eddie Guerrero how dangerous it was. And then on top of his partying, using that stuff. Because from WCW, WWF, he put on a lot of muscle. Let's call it what it was.
Yeah.
He was kind of skinny in WCW. He got WWF, all of a sudden he had guns.
Oh, yeah. And I was actually like, I was a kid in high school too, and I was defending him like, no, there's no way he took steroids. And my mom was looking at me like, you look me dead in the eyes right now, look at this guy's build, and tell me he doesn't take steroids. I'm like, no. Like, you can get that big if you, like, actually push yourself hard enough in the gym. But she was like, you best get the fuck away from me, because that is a steroid body if I've ever seen one.
It happened so quick, too. That's how you know it was steroids. Same way with Mark McGuire, Barry Bonds, like they got so big, and Peyton Manning, let's call it what it is. They got so big so quick. You know what I mean? Had to be steroids.
Oh yeah, I mean even Jason Giambi had to.
A lot of those small guys had to though, because they had to compensate for not being as big as the other guys. So they had to have a look that matched. Like Benoit had used steroids, mixing steroids and pain pills. I'm pretty sure Eddie probably mixed freaking steroids and alcohol pills. Like a lot of those smaller guys, you could tell how they were like that because they had to have the look because they didn't have the height. They had to try to get on TV.
Yeah.
Mysterio took children's steroids.
He's a deadbeat.
So, you remember when I don't remember who it might have been Marty Jannetty because Shawn Michaels obviously a Vince McMahon guy and would never turn on him like that. But you remember when Marty Jannetty, I think it was Marty Jannetty, he was talking about the steroids, and then he was one of the people that rolled on him, and they thought Hulk Hogan was going to bury Vince, and he didn't. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Never bought any steroids from him. That whole trial. Well, after that, they had said he had said Shawn Michaels was offered steroids too for the same reason you said. That's what made me remind it. Said he needed the look and the build, and
they needed to stay on TV.
Yeah,
you knew they were going to push the bigger guys, so you needed something to keep the appeal on you. If you could perform in the ring, but you need something to be visually appealing to the audience.
Yeah, he said that Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart were the only two that said they weren't going to do it.
That's the guy who had a really deep relationship with Booger Sugar.
Right. I mean,
yeah.
Shawn Michaels was on some cocaine, but he never took the steroids.
What was he? What was he at the end, bro? He was on that. He was all coked out, bro.
Oh yeah. Well, not to mention Brett was hyped up on painkillers too, because being the face and having to just go everywhere with virtually no days off. Oh, like he was even talking about it. Like, yeah, I was hurt. I was going to the health professionals, and they were like, "Hey, here you go. Here's a prescription for painkillers to get you back in the ring."
And the thing with him is he hasn't aged bad. Like he still looks good, but he looks rough though. Like you could he put a big toll. Like the way he walks around, like he looks good for his age, but you can tell he hurts. Like the stuff he put his body through.
Yeah, so that's exactly it. Bret Hart with his pills, Shawn Michaels with his cocaine, but neither of them did steroids. Marty Jannetty said both of them told Vince no. So I could see that because neither of them got really big. Like
not to the point where it stood out. Like I'm pretty sure even the Bulldog probably took steroids because you seen how British Bulldog got kind of jacked. Especially towards the end. Like remember when he was in the blue jeans and boots, bro? He was freaking jacked, bro.
Dude,
he was big, bro.
He was.
Even look at the Anvil, bro. Anvil got freaking jacked too when Brett left the WCW. He was freaking.
Oh yeah. I mean, look, Brett and Shawn weren't really big guys. They were just more lean and sticking to the natural weightlifting and all that other stuff.
But I liked the idea of the smaller, even if they were on roids. I liked that. Yeah, because they didn't have to be this big, larger than life, tall freaking guy, and they could still put on better matches than everybody. That's why I liked Benoit. That's why I liked Eddie, and I liked HBK and stuff because they didn't need to be this freaking 6'5", 6'7" guy to be able to be the best. You know what I mean?
Right. Same way with Jericho. Jericho was big, but he never got super massive. That never happened. He pretty much
his gut got massive and now it's gone.
Hey, he took that off after about a year or two.
Hey, if there's anybody that should get credit for longevity, that is the guy.
That is the guy.
Easily. He's been doing it for as long as anybody, bro. And if the fact that he can still do a line salt at his age is freaking insane. He's too old.
I was about to say the fact that he's in his 50s, still going and still able to do a lion salt.
You know something, a move that I feel like sucks. Kurt Angle would do that freaking high ass moonsault, knowing that 9 times out of 10 he wasn't gonna land and just eat straight mat. That's some dedication, bro. It's the prettiest moonsault ever, bro. Off a cage and just eat freaking mat, dog. I'm like, golly.
He had such a smooth moonsault, it was insane.
Perk Angle, bro.
The one of the fewest guys that could actually beat a silverback gorilla if he was still Perk Angle.
Yep.
Man. So Kurt Angle, well, yeah, he was so high all the time on pain pills, he felt nothing, bro. Nothing.
Bro, he said in TNA, in TNA he was still doing Percocets and stuff like that. But in TNA, all they would do after matches, so we one viewer away from being 100 live. That's legit.
Nice.
All they would do is drink. They would drink hella beer, bro. So dude, he's jacked off of freaking Percocets, high out of his mind, and drinking splitting a 12-pack or freaking more. I'm like, dude, you was having a good freaking time, dog. He wasn't feeling nothing. Unquestionably, his best matches were there. He was high as a kite, but he was cutting up.
Well, if you feel no pain and you're already a 5-star talent match every time you step in the ring, you're 5-star plus now.
Oh hell yeah!
And Kurt Angle was legit, bro. Kurt Angle is all right. So real quick, is Kurt Angle top 10 all time for you, Brandon?
Hell yeah! Being able to come into the business, just being an amateur wrestler, and being able to adapt on the mic, in the ring, and everything, yeah, he earned his stripes.
Oh yeah. Look, if you're getting praise from Undertaker, yeah, you're definitely top 10.
What about you, Terry? You think he's top 10?
That's an easy one there. Yeah, that's definitely a top 10.
I think he's on the bottom half, but he's definitely there.
Oh yeah.
He's not top 5.
Oh yeah, and yeah, I mean, again, like Taker said, it was, you know, the fact that he was able to be like, you know what, these guys are entertainers. Yeah, I'm an Olympic gold wrestler, but I'm willingly able to put that aside, put that kind of ego aside, and just go out there and have fun with them.
Yeah,
I think he's probably around 6 to 7 for me. He might slip in the top 5, but I mean, there's some other really good guys though.
Kurt Angle top 10. I am not as confident as y'all are. I could just, and it's no knock on Kurt Angle. I just names like Hogan, Flair, Cena, Triple H, HBK. I mean, like these names are reverberating in my head, and like I just named off the top of my head a few quick ones. And then you got Bret Hart. Then you got Chris Jericho.
Is Kurt Angle higher than Eddie Guerrero or Chris Benoit?
Yes.
You think?
I think so. I think Chris Benoit, unfortunately, I think his legacy's tarnished. I don't think
wrestling. If we're looking at this wrestling alone, though, outside of any of the outside noise,
no, because I think Kurt Angle was as good as Chris Benoit in the ring, and he was 10 times better on the mic. Yeah. So that's why I put him above. Now Eddie Guerrero, I think Kurt Angle was just an athletic freak. I think they were pretty equal on the mic, both as entertaining as the ring. I just think Kurt Angle could do more because he was a freaking athlete, crazy psychopathic athlete. That's why I would put him above them, but I don't have them two in my top 10 either, though.
I mean, the way I look at it, you could really mix the top 5 any way around that you like, but number 6, I'll go Angle. Number 7, Eddie Guerrero, because like you said, it was really close with them. Both of them were really good on the mic. We saw the kind of match they would able to be putting on at WrestleMania 20, especially during the little rivalry that they had. I mean, hell, like that should have gone a lot longer than it did.
I think the thing that hurts Eddie is his career ended soon. He wasn't able to get another couple world title reigns. I think that's kind of the thing that goes against him. But he held plenty of other gold. Obviously, he had great matches, great storytelling, great mic skills. It's just one of those things that he just needed a little bit more. I feel like for most people to get there.
I don't know. I'd have to put a list together. But if I were to guess right off the top of my head, I'm probably
Jesse Ventura.
Yeah, Jesse Ventura. I'm probably not putting Kurt Angle in my top 10.
Said you're not?
Yes, probably not. Just because I'd have to sit there and look at it though. It wouldn't be crazy to put him in my top 10, but like after 5 seconds of thinking, I come up with 7 people who I think are better. Makes me think that he's probably not going to crack my top 10. But I could be wrong. But something I would like to know. All right, get over there, buddy.
Okay.
Who, and I mean this with all the love in the world, who is your GOAT?
I might have to take a pass for the second. Somebody else is going to have to answer that one first.
I would probably go, and I'm basing this off of longevity and the fact that he was still able to be near the top of the card no matter what all the time. And not a mid card. I don't think has he really ever been a mid carder. Even his debut, he was on a main event match, and from there he just took off. So I would have to go with the Undertaker.
Ooh. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we talked about how great Undertaker was earlier. Okay, I don't think I have Undertaker quite that high. But
Clearly,
no crazy.
your facial expression.
I agree with you. Everything you said is 100% right. From the day he stepped in, he was a main eventer. He never went down to the mid card, no matter what. Like he was.
He was a main eventer holding mid card titles too. He didn't care.
Yes.
Yeah.
He didn't care. His debut, he was a superstar. Like I remember his debut. The second he came out with the gong and okay, but yeah, I'm not going to disagree with him being in that conversation. Is what I'll say about that, because you can't say anything bad about his career at all. Nothing. There's zero part of his career that wasn't just elite. So no crazy talk here. What about you, James?
Oh boy. Man. I mean, when you really do look at it as far as like 2000 and on, I mean, for me, it really isn't that close. I mean, 17 titles with the same company, putting the company on his back for 10, maybe even closing in on 20 years, and just, just constantly carrying it because it was like Vince had to rely so much on this guy. Vince had to rely on him so much because it was so hard to like get the talent pushing. But I'm gonna have to go with John Cena.
Okay.
Hey, look, he's got 17.
Hey, Doctor of Basic Thugonomics, I'll say is better. When My Time Is Now debuted, it was good, and then now it's just like, yeah.
Look, he stood the test of time. He's got more titles than anybody ever. I really want to hit you with crazy talk because for me that's crazy talk. But like your argument with 17 titles alone is hard for me to bring out the crazy talk because he is what he is, and he did it against some of the top talent ever. It's not like he was hidden, in this new era.
And hey, like I said, he was putting the company on his back and carrying it for so long. And then like around when he was feuding with Randy Orton, it was good, but when he started getting the World Heavyweight Championship, it was like, all right, well, now that's pretty much the only thing we really have to look forward to.
Super Cena.
So for me, the fact that John Cena is 17-time champion, and that's what puts him in the category for me, makes it like that's why he's not number one for me. But I can't crazy talk you because how the hell you crazy talk somebody who's done it against Randy Orton, against Batista, against Undertaker, against Brock Lesnar? Got to give the man his due. So yeah, no crazy talk out of me. Even though he wouldn't be mine. Same way with Undertaker. What about you, Brandon?
I'll be honest with you. I mean, you're gonna say, see, and there's a part of me that wants to say Triple H, just from the simple standpoint of like character progression, like the same reasons you said, able to go in the ring with anybody, great as a heel, not terrible as a face, some of the greatest matches of all time. I think like a 14-time world champion.
Mm-hmm.
But world titles are extremely important, just like how like we talk about in football, Super Bowl rings are important. But sometimes with hard times, you just don't have them championship belts. So you got to go Shawn Michaels, bro. I'm sorry. Like, it's just, even when he wasn't a main eventer, he was still a main eventer. Like, in the second half, didn't have to hold the world. He literally won the big gold right when he came back and never held it again. And literally could walk into any match with anybody and beat the entire show.
Even when he was feuding with Cena, we were getting pay-per-view matches on a random Monday night.
Well, the Monday night match you're talking about was better than the WrestleMania match.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing about that match, that was punishment because John Cena was doing some stupid shit. And they're like, okay, well, now you have to do like an hour-long Iron Man match, and then you're going to lose. But the thing with him, bro, the thing with Shawn is like his beginning of his career was so stellar, and then leaving for like 4 or 5 years and coming back and having as good of a segment as before without even winning gold like that. I think that speaks testaments to me. One world title, I think like a 2 or 3 time tag team champion. Didn't win anything else. Literally nothing else when he came back, and was relevant with the guys who won gold the entire time. So I think that speaks for me that you didn't have to win the world title, and your name's still in the same conversation as guys like John Cena, Undertaker, Batista, Triple H. You're still in that conversation. You don't even need to be anywhere near it. You just
I mean, like JR said, nobody has ever outperformed Shawn Michaels. And that's a hill worth dying on too.
Yeah, for sure. Shawn Michaels is the greatest entertainer of all time. He's my favorite. Y'all know how I feel about Shawn Michaels. He's just the best to ever do it, in my opinion. He just is. I agree with everything Brandon said. However, the GOAT,
is Ric Flair.
With my personal feelings aside, with just for what he was able to do from both sides of the coin, from both companies, gotta be Hulk Hogan. Literally saved wrestling in the 80s.
Created wrestling.
Wrestling, went to WCW, turned heel, but went from the world's greatest face we've ever saw to the world's greatest heel we ever saw, winning 6 titles in each company during the heyday. There was no bigger name than Hulk Hogan. It's never happened. As much as I love Shawn Michaels,
never will happen.
It's not hold as much weight as Hulk Hogan.
And it sucks though, because of obvious reasons. Like, the dude gets booed out of every arena he goes into, unfortunately. And that sucks, bro, because such a freaking huge name with such a crazy legacy, and because of you being a dumbass or feeling.
I was going to say it's all because of like all the things he did backstage back in like when he was making the World Wrestling Federation put on the map. It was just like all the things he was doing backstage.
It was
starting to come up.
We're just being honest, some racist stuff. That's why black people don't like Hulk Hogan, just because of shit like that. And that sucks because he could be such an ambassador for wrestling, but it sucks because I've seen a huge turn. Like, remember what WrestleMania it was? It was him, The Rock, and Stone Cold were all there like one time.
Oh, WrestleMania 18.
No, this was like in the last 10, 15 years or so.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about. I wasn't really watching as much.
Yeah, I think it was in Dallas when The Rock had like a 5-second match.
So like at that point, he was still like in good standing. But it feels like slowly but surely, ever since then, and obviously things have come out, like his legacy is shot. And it sucks because of how much he gave and how much he really helped revolutionize it in more than one way. It just kind of sucks, because of, I guess, personal whatever you feel or however you want to talk. Like, now it's like that's completely washed.
Yeah.
So, here's the thing. Same way with Benoit, same way with Snuka, if you want, whatever. You take the outside distraction.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I agree.
But Shawn Michaels did it better. Shawn Michaels was more entertaining.
He had more than 3 moves.
Yeah. So,
but the crazy thing is when Hogan would wrestle in Japan and all that, he would actually wrestle. He wouldn't be so like he would actually put on a clinic, bro. But in the US, he's like, nope. Clothesline, body slam, leg drop, over with.
Basically. Or like even leading up to the leg drop, just like, oh yeah, let me get these people so hyped up with hulking up.
Look, he punched like 50 times a match. I mean, like he had to punch. So So before we go, I want to know who is the most overrated wrestler of all time.
Ooh. I'm gonna get a lot of shit. John Cena, bro. I grew up in the same time period as James, so like I resonate with his beginning gimmick. It's probably one of my favorite gimmicks ever. It just feels relatable. It was really cool, especially for the time period it was in. And then when he transitioned into being world champion, I'm like, okay, this is cool. Like, he's still over. But it's like after that, it just felt like it was just forced. And I get it. You needed someone that was a big enough name to hold you over until something else would change. But it's just like 17 means a lot to me. but it doesn't feel like it means as much when you're just throwing the strap on him like Super Cena, like freaking he beats Rey Mysterio, like Mysterio wins the title, and then John Cena beats him like 2 minutes later, like shit like that. Like it just that to me, like, and there's no disrespect. I hope nobody takes that as disrespect. I love John Cena, but like I feel like after that era of like 2008, 2009, I just feel like it's kind of like it's just I'm just gonna keep putting the belt on him because we just don't have anything else going on.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I no crazy talk out of me. I could 100% see why you feel that way. James.
Honestly, it's kind of a toss up between these two guys. Might catch some heat for this, but one of them is definitely Brock Lesnar because kind of feels like when he came back in 2012, the only thing Vince wanted to do was just put the title on him and just like put him on that destructive path and everything like that. Like I get it when he was actually wrestling and having feuds with Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero, and everything like that. That was entertaining. But then once it got to like 2012, 2017, 2018, it was like, okay, now you're just making him a WWE version of a UFC fighter. He holds on to the title for just under 550 days and was only it at a pay-per-view event, and it was like, dude, come on, really? Like, I get it, Cena's off doing his own thing, but at the same time, we got all this talent that's proving they can do a lot better than what Lesnar's doing instead of just walking around, one-handing referees into the ring and everything like that. So, I mean, for the later career of Brock Lesnar, it's definitely Lesnar. But
I already know who Andrew gonna pick. I feel like
he's probably thinking of who I'm about to say next too.
When you know somebody, you know somebody, you know.
Yeah. So, but next up, I'm probably gonna have to say Goldberg. Like we said, you know, he didn't really have the moveset. He got exposed by William Regal, and the only thing he really had going for him that got you hyped up was his entrance.
I agree with you on Goldberg, but Brock Lesnar's crazy talk, man. That dude was intense. He was fun. He had Paul Heyman. I disagree with you on that, which I'm allowed to disagree. Goldberg, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Goldberg, Ultimate Warrior, these are notable people who are overrated, right? But that's not who I pick. The person I pick, it still boggles the mind that they let this guy win all these titles. Boggles the mind that he beats Hulk Hogan. It boggles the mind that they act like this guy is one of the elite all-time wrestlers. So the fact that Sting is considered one of the GOATs is the craziest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Dang, that was not who I anticipated. I knew you don't like Sting.
Who'd you think I was gonna say?
Who's that jumping out the sky?
Who?
Reasonable. Rey Mysterio.
Oh, so yeah, Rey Mysterio, but Rey Mysterio didn't achieve the level that Sting made. Rey Mysterio was my number 2, by far. But when I go and I look at Sting, he sucked on the mic. He was not fun to watch. And Stinger Splash, I got you. And his entrance was pretty cool though. But 1 out of 3 does not make an elite GOAT. I mean, Rey Mysterio had none of those going for him. I guess he had a pretty cool entrance every once in a while, but he was worse in the ring than Sting, and he was terrible on the mic too. So maybe Rey Mysterio does take that for me. But
I put Mysterio there before Sting because at least Sting revitalized himself on the mic when he went to TNA. Like at least he had a good run. Like in TNA, I feel like he had as good of a run as he did in WCW. Like in my opinion. Now I personally prefer Surfer Sting. Surfer Sting was legit, but
yeah, I mean, he really stepped his game up when he was like one of the main guys of the Main Event Mafia.
Hell yeah, bro! What you mean? Sting, Booker T, Kurt Angle? That's crazy, bro.
So it's really weird because like we've talked about our GOAT. We talked about who is the most overrated. But one more before we go. Who is the most underrated person that you feel like does not get enough recognition for what they did?
Double J, bro.
Look, no crazy talk here.
Dude, Double J should have won world titles and it been legit. Like, he got the shaft in WCW. Like, at the end when WCW was freaking hot garbage. And they just put the belt on him because they were putting the belt on everybody. Like, and obviously y'all didn't watch TNA as much as I did, but like him being in his own company and like really in his bag and just taking the NWA title off of everybody and just running that, like, the dude could have been a world champion anywhere, bro. Like, his heel work is legit. His mic work is legit. And he can wrestle too. Like, he was freaking doing the Ric Flair strut and everything, doing the figure four and all that. Like, come on, bro. Jeff Jarrett's that dude.
I agree. No crazy talk out of me. I think Jeff Jarrett doesn't get nowhere near what he deserves. What about you, James?
Man, I'll probably get a little bit of crazy talk out of this, but it mostly has to do with the fact that he won his championships in WCW, but when he came over to WWE, he was more so thrown into like comedic. His rivalry with Stone was severely underrated and definitely didn't get talked about enough. And when he won King of the Ring and then became champion again, at that point he was just having fun with his career. I'm going to have to go with Booker T.
Booker T. I thought you were going to say DDP.
Dude, that's who I was about to say, bro, because DDP was that dude too.
Yeah. Hey,
I love DDP.
Hey, close second. I'll agree to that any day of the week. Very underrated.
Everything you said was more geared toward DDP than it was Booker T, because Booker T did get his due in WWF.
Five times.
He won a world title while he was there. DDP was the one that they took and made him a comedy act.
No, he's a fucking stalker, dog. Like, come on, bro. He was that dude, bro.
True.
He was like Team WCW, bro. And I think that's why they did him like that. Because he was so, like, deep-rooted, like, I live, bleed, and die WCW.
Yeah, DDP was so over. People don't understand when he did that, like, that crowd blew up. DDP was as over as anybody you've ever met during that small time period in WCW. That's a fact. They did him dirty.
When did he feud with Stone Cold? Because I know Booker and him had that little grocery store fight, and it was like,
who feuded with Stone Cold?
DDP.
I don't think they had anything that noteworthy. I think they might have had a match.
Because what he was saying, I said that kind of reminded me more of DDP. Not that part, just the other stuff you were saying. Like
okay, I got you.
Yeah. But for me, I see it. But stop. I'm in a show. Okay. Stop. For me, though, I agree with James 120%. It's Booker T. I mean, the fact that we don't talk about this guy in the upper echelon of wrestling royalty is just criminal. What he did as a tag team champion, like what he did as a singles competitor, what he did to bring energy to the ring, what he could do on the mic. I mean, Harlem Heat was that tag team, bro.
Yeah.
The Steiner brothers.
And like I said, his rivalry with Stone Cold, their fight in the grocery store. I mean, those two were just having so much fun with it.
He had a good rivalry with Triple H too, though. They should have put the strap on him at WrestleMania 19. They gave him the strap.
Yeah, they did.
He lost the purple tights on him.
Look, I Booker T deserved. When we talk about wrestling royalty, Booker T deserves to be in there.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many. I'm gonna look it up real quick. How many times Harlem Heat had the championship? Because I know
they had him hella, bro.
Yeah,
like over 5 easily.
I'm looking it up right now. Let's see.
Harlem Heat's a tag team that nobody talks about either.
Oh yeah,
they're easily like a top 10 tag team of all time.
Yeah, for sure.
Easily.
Yes, that's one I'll throw in there real easy for sure.
Oh yeah, same.
I'm trying to look up how many they had. It was a lot. If I can't remember the exact number, but it was the amount. 10-time tag team champion, 7-time world television champion,
Jesus,
6-time TV champion for Booker T. He was
won
a
the U.S. title a bunch too.
Mm-hmm.
WCW Tag Team Champion with his brother. I mean, how you gonna have 6 world titles, 10 tag team titles, and you not wrestling royalty? That's crazy. He is
Mm-hmm.
wrestling royalty to the T. He is a top 10 all time. I'm putting him above Kurt Angle.
He was just the butt of a lot of jokes, especially early on. Like, he had to earn his stripes, bro, because The Rock got in on his ass.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
my gosh. You know the answer, Booker? Oh yeah, I do. 2 + 2. Thomas
Jefferson, sucker.
Yes, but that's just a testament to him. So Booker T had memorable moments with The Rock and Stone Cold, which were the 2 biggest stars at the time, and he was in the limelight with both of them. That's just another reason to put him in wrestling royalty. He did it with 2 of the best.
He did.
Even for titles.
Yeah.
So it's crazy talk not to put Booker T in the top 10, in my opinion.
And after that, he was in tag teams with random people. But he'd win titles like RVD, like Booker T and Rob Van Dam. That don't go together, but they win in the tag team titles, though.
Hell yeah. And then, like, even I believe he was even doing a tag team championship team up with Chris Benoit too, and even that rivalry was carried.
Their best of like 3 or 5 series. Him and Benoit for the U.S. title is
that was really, so good,
dude. Like, them 2 could put on a good match. Benoit and Booker T were really good together. That era was like really good.
Oh yeah. And man, Charmel just doing her thing because, like, she pissed me off to no extent when Booker turned heel on Benoit. I'm like, oh my God, will you shut up, girl?
Not until Kurt Angle came for her.
Listen, I'm going to give you Booker T's resume. He's held 35 championships across WCW, WWF, and TNA. He's a 5-time WCW World Heavyweight Champion.
Yep.
He's a 1-time WWE World Heavyweight Champion. He's a TV champion 6 times. A WCW World Tag Team Champion 11 times, 10 times with Harlem Heat, once with Test. He was an Intercontinental Champion once. He was United States Champion 3 times. He was twice the Hardcore Champion. He was a King of the Ring, and he was double inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame. Tell me how this man doesn't belong in the top.
He won titles in TNA too. He was a world champion there too, and he won tag team gold.
And hey, I'm willing to bet my next paycheck the 2-time, one as a single, the other with Harlem Heat.
Yes. So he won the team title with Scott Steiner in TNA.
Mm-hmm.
So you think about all these accolades. Convince me right now, one of you, that Booker T isn't top 10 all time. Convince me.
No, he is. I mean, it's just you're gonna have a hard time convincing other people to put him like in the top 5. I don't think he's top 5, but he's definitely top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not top 5. I agree with that, but he's definitely top 10. Mm-hmm. If he's not top 10 with that resume I just let off, then who is?
Snooker.
I was gonna say, if anything, just like right at the number 11 spot.
You can't leave him out. 11-time World Tag Team Champion in the major production, 6-time, world champion. So that's like John Smoltz going and winning fucking 200 games as a starter and 200 saves as a closing pitcher. He essentially took both aspects of what we do in wrestling, being tag team and individual, and was at the highest peak in both of them. His entire career, he's top 10. You're not going to convince me otherwise.
Fair enough.
Like, I'm a little biased because Booker T is one of my favorites of all time. But when I give you the resume, he deserves to be in the top 10. I stand on that. Like, I stand on that fact. I mean, one could even say that, if you put him higher on the list than The Rock, it would be hard to dispute. Look at the longevity. Look at the title runs. Look at what he did with who he did it with.
Damn.
Was he as entertaining as The Rock? No.
Kurt Angle's a 13-time world champion.
Who?
Kurt Angle.
How many in TNA?
Shit, let's see. So WWE, he won the world title 4 times.
Right.
Let's see. He was a WCW world champion, if that counts, with the invasion angle. Let me see. Hey Siri.
Yeah, that counts.
How many times did Kurt Angle win the TNA world title?
It should have it on like Wikipedia or something.
6 times.
Jesus.
6-time TNA world champion. And then he won the IWGP world title too. He had the TNA and the IWGP at the same exact time.
Oh yeah, wasn't that when like everybody in TNA was just like, yeah, we're just gonna put every strap on you.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, he had like the freaking world title, the IWGP title, the X Division title, and he was a tag team champion at the same time.
Okay, cool. Let's throw that out there. So he's got an NWA title, an IWGP title, 6 TNA titles. That's all fine and good. He won the WWE 4 times,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then World Heavyweight Championship once, WCW once. So he essentially tied with Booker T for his time in the major productions, right?
Yeah.
He has 1 tag team title. Booker T has 11 in just WCW and WWF alone.
1 tag team title in what production though? Because I feel like he won tag gold more once.
Well, once
It was WWE when the WWE tag titles were first introduced.
Okay, I was gonna say because he definitely won tag gold a couple times at TNA. I think
he won it twice in TNA, once with Sting and once with AJ Styles. But he won it 1 time in WWE.
Yeah.
With
I could see if that's a different. I could see that being a differing factor. I get it.
11-3 on the tag team. You know, now was Booker T a bigger star than Kurt Angle? No. Like, nobody's arguing that. But we're talking about overall body of work and everything that he accomplished in wrestling. I got Booker T higher than Kurt Angle. I feel like his resume is more impressive. If we're going just off of star power, yeah, Kurt Angle by far. Kurt Angle is probably top 5 all-time star power.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the stuff that he did in TNA and WWE. King of the Ring winner, 2-time King of the Mountain winner in TNA. He had like feud of the year, match of the year. Like his accolades in WWE alone are just insane.
I think something, and I'm not saying he's over Booker T, but something you need to realize: TNA was an upstart promotion, not even barely 4 years into existence when Kurt Angle got there, and immediately put them on the freaking map.
Oh yeah,
like just his name, and they had former guys. They had the Dudley Boys already. They had Christian Cage, and they had some good guys. Booker T hadn't came over yet, but dude, when he signed, nobody's seen it coming, and when he came, it was like immediately boom, like they're mainstream. Maybe not to the same degree as Monday Night Raw, but like to be able to take a company and immediately put them on the map like that, not everybody could do that.
And
like,
here's the ironic thing about,
and that goes back to what Andrew said about star power. Like just being that big of a name, like Booker T would have went and did that, it wouldn't have had the same exact effect. Now he went over there and had great success.
Oh yeah,
but
here's the ironic thing about Kurt Angle going over to TNA. I think it was when he dropped the world title, and then he went to Vince like, "Yo, I want to take some time off," and because like I'm like so high on these painkillers right now.
That was during after his ECW run.
Yeah, so it was like right around after that time that it would be like about a month to 3 months later that he shows up on TNA.
He said, "I want to take a break, Vince." He shows up and gets a lucrative deal with TNA, and it's like, yeah, like.
And he told him too. You're like, "Hey, I want to take a break. I want to get off these painkillers."
But the schedule was a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have to be on TV nearly as much, and the travel schedule was a lot better.
Yeah,
and they were paying him well. So I mean, I get it. WWE's demanding.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, not as much anymore. Like they're able to get like time off and spend more time with the family and everything. But back then, Vince was running them like rented mules.
Well, let's go further down the rabbit hole. We were talking about underrated wrestlers not getting enough accolades for what they've done for the industry. Christian has got to be up there.
Oh, easily.
Everything he's done, and nobody talks about him, and that's crazy.
You know, the crazy thing to me is like, okay, he spent all the time as a tag team guy, gets a singles run starting at like 03, and you see every year he gets better. Like he has a match with Jericho at Mania 20, comes out, I think Mania 21, he's in the Money in the Bank match, and then he gets in this feud with Cena when Cena comes to Raw, Like, oh, dude, this is the freaking push he needed. Like, then I got to take the
Yeah.
strap off of Cena. And then management's like, oh, well, Christian can't command that much of a crowd. So they had to force freaking Jericho into the match. And then Christian's like, you know what, bro? He's like, and that was like the deciding factor. He's like, no, you know what? You're not trying to really push me and give me a shot. I'm going to go over here and show you what I can actually do.
Yeah.
And goes to TNA and freaking wins the NWA title like 2 or 3 times and shows like, hey, dude, I can be a single star. Comes back to WWE and wins the big gold and does really good for himself. And still
he won it, but at the same time, it was like he only had it for about a week before dropping it to Randy Orton.
Yeah, and he was the ECW World Champion too, but I don't count that. That's the big silver ECW title.
Yeah, that thing was ugly.
A little trivia here, something that I just learned.
Tag team champion though.
Who was the very first ECW champion?
Oh, because at that time it was Eastern. It was like Eastern Championship. It was before it was Extreme Championship Wrestling. It's not Taz. I know it's not. It's not Taz. No, it's not the same. It's not the Sandman.
Mm-mm.
It's not Mike Awesome.
You want to know who?
Let me just say a couple and just tell me if I'm wrong. I know it's not Chris Candido.
Can't be RVD either because he came later.
No, he came from WCW. I feel like I know who it is but I can't say the name. Who is it?
Who is Chris's favorite superstar?
Oh, that's true. It is Snooker. Oh,
yeah.
Oh my gosh, bro!
Oh my god! Wow. I don't know why, but I was gonna be in the area of like Sabu, but man, it was like, damn, that was pretty close with the name.
I was listing off a bunch of names. I'm like, man, I know it's somebody that I wasn't expecting, and I forgot all about that.
Yep, he was the inaugural champion.
How gross! Ew! How unextreme! Extremely gross.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he took Extreme to WWE with him and got a little too extreme.
Oops. Capital K with Killer Instinct.
So that's crazy. So they were actually the NWA back then. So
yeah, they broke off of.
And WCW both broke off. So after, that was the beginning. So after it changed to ECW, changed its name to ECW, Sandman was actually the first champion. But the promotion start itself, when it was still under National Wrestling Alliance, it was Jimmy Snuka.
Yeah, because they broke off and it was like Eastern Championship Wrestling, and then Heyman and them were like, no, we want to be Extreme Championship Wrestling, and then Sandman. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, so Sandman, then Mickey Whipwreck, and then Sandman again, then Raven, then Sandman, then Raven. Like, this was prime ECW.
Who's your favorite ECW original of all time?
Ooh. Oh, Sandman for sure.
Can you guess mine?
Yeah, Jimmy Snuka.
I'd probably have to go Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah, I mess with Tommy Dreamer because, like, dude, I love his story, bro. Like, he earned their respect, bro. They were like, man, this dude's freaking ass, bro. He's just sitting there taking kendo shots and all this and all that, and becoming the innovator of violence, bro. Like, and he was loyal. He never, like, he didn't leave, like, because most of the other people had left way before he did. Like, Sandman even left to go to WCW, and that didn't freaking go well at all. That was gross.
Oh, yeah. And then there's the whole, like, what was it? ECW One Night Stand 05 or something like that. It was like Tanaka versus Mike Awesome, and Joey Styles is going on a tirade of Mike Awesome.
Dope, bro.
Yeah, go watch the tirade Joey Styles goes on. I'm like, dude.
And then Tommy Dreamer was going to freaking assassinate freaking Paul Heyman at Mania 17.
So Tommy Dreamer is yours, Brandon?
Yeah, I love Tommy Dreamer. I know he's a little bit too old and chunky to be still wrestling, but
yeah,
prime Tommy Dreamer. Like, I feel like they made him look stupid when he went to WWF and he kept trying to win the hardcore title and shit. Like, it made him look stupid. Like, I thought he was better than that.
What about so that's what about we're talking about the Sandman and we're talking about What about Just Incredible?
I like he's a
Ooh.
piece of shit in real life though. He be scamming people and stuff.
Oh,
Nowadays, he be scamming people out of money. But I liked him in ECW though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Oh,
like
like-
Just Incredible too.
Just Incredible was dope. Mike Awesome was dope. Freaking
Prime
not-
RVD.
Rhino.
yeah, I like going with some of the names that aren't as prominent. Like
Yeah.
like the guys who are like bigger WWE guys, like RVD,
Yeah.
Sabu, Sandman, Dreamer, freaking Taz. They botched Taz. They freaking
They did. Oh man.
who else was
I'll say this: when they had the alliance going, they were supposed to be a heel group, and RVD was like the only likable
yeah.
guy in that group.
oh man, or Stone Cold's like whoever walks through that door next, I'm gonna whip his ass. RVD walks through the door and they're like, oh shit, well he's on our team. So like, what
Yeah.
are you?
Hey, Steve, what's up? Because it was like, dude, you're in a heel faction, but you're a face.
Just Incredible's your favorite one, Andrew?
No. Mine's Sandman.
I love Sandman though. Sandman, come on, bro. I'm a freaking kid, freaking drinking the beer, smashing on his head, and he just comes beating everybody with a kendo stick. Come on, what kid ain't gonna like that? That was freaking cool.
And Sandman was awesome, bro. And like he's bleeding before the match starts. I mean,
He's already leaking. There ain't no first blood match. He's bloody already.
yeah, he did not care, and he was fun in the ring. And
He could be a good wrestler. He just that wasn't his character.
but when he came to WCW though, he could barely walk down the ramp. Like he was at the twilight of his career. I remember him like, damn, this dude could barely walk. And that's because of all the bumps he took in ECW. He was definitely on the downside of his career at that point.
Oh yeah.
Same way with Tommy Dreamer when he came to WWF. He was on the downside. The one they really misused though was Rhino. Like he could have been a huge champion in WWF, and they just refused to do it for him. It made no
Dude, the goal, like people say what they want about the spear, but the gore is like, boy, if you get hit with a gore, dog, you feel it through the TV screen, dog. Like,
Just as Jericho, that dude got sent through the backstage.
John Cena said he's gonna hit him with the gore. He's rocking the horn on his head. I'm rocking the horn on my shorts.
Rhino has the best spear.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, better than Edge, Goldberg, all of them. Roman Reigns, Rhino does it best.
Yeah, because you felt it. It seemed like, and come on, man. Most of the time he did it was through a freaking table. Like, come on, bro. Like that was dead. You were freaking broken in half. Oh my gosh.
Did y'all ever see that? I don't remember which one it was. It was late 90s, early 2000 when Taz mission fucking Just Incredible through the double flaming tables. Like fucking Taz mission, they went through 2 flaming tables. I was like, God, he killed him,
bro. They did him so. The definite, like we talked about DDP, but they did to him, like Taz, like was the definition of burying someone.
Oh, yeah,
like
Taz
being that freaking good, bro, and just like not even like 2 years in, you're already a freaking commentator. Like what?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean, bro? Taz is a badass, bro.
Oh yeah, even his debut match against Kurt Angle, it was like, damn, this should be good enough evidence to be like, yeah, let's give him some titles.
So here's the thing though. As much as I like Taz, his character in ECW as the scary guy just did not carry over to WWE. It just didn't work.
Because he just fit the extreme thing because he was just mysterious and ECW was mysterious. And WWE is like, okay, it's just another guy with a power trip.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and then you think real badasses. I mean, you still got Stone Cold, Triple H. You got Undertaker out there. Taz cannot compete in that capacity, and that's why he didn't work like at all. That's why Sandman didn't work in WCW. Too many egos there. Hulk Hogan's like, he's not coming out here hitting me with no fucking kendo stick. I promise you that.
Think about how the locker room was. They come over. He's like, oh hell no, this dude ain't about to be smacking us with no kendo stick, bro. We're getting his ass thrown out of here.
Yeah,
like, they were fighting in the locker rooms. Man. I can't imagine. Oh hell no, we ain't doing all that. You get buried, dog. Creative control.
You getting out. Yeah, exactly. You know, and especially such a big star in ECW comes over and Hulk Hogan's looking at him like, nah.
No, you're not a star, though.
Yeah, you got your first match against Disco Inferno. Oh, and by the way, you lose. Let's go.
Oh, man.
Oh
You
my!
like Disco Inferno?
Hey man, Disco Inferno was entertaining. I will be like, I know y'all didn't live through it like I did, but he was entertaining, bro. Like he come out there, I'd be giggling. I ain't gonna lie.
You rather Disco Inferno or La Parka?
Hey, La Parka, bro. No, La Parka was that dude. I love La Parka. Little fucking dance he did, then he just started whooping your ass, man. That shit was great. La Parka was one of the great.
Vampiro was ass.
You didn't like La Parka?
No, I said Vampiro was ass.
Oh yeah, what was that, man? That was stupid.
Vampiro was the one with like the white looking mask thing that had beef with Sting.
Yeah, for sure.
Wasn't that like another attempt of WCW? Like, oh yeah, you did so good as Goldust, you're gonna be this dude now.
Oh no, you're talking about freaking. He did 7 when he like glided to the ring and then didn't do it again after that. He's like, this gimmick sucks. And he said it out like this gimmick is ass, bro.
So yeah, Vampiro was terrible. You know, Gangrel is the only one to ever pull that character off for real.
Mortis was dope though.
I'm talking about like a vampire character.
Oh no, but like just being like a dark character, Mortis was cool too.
Mortis, didn't he end up killing himself?
Yeah, later on
because he was gay, and like they had made fun of him. Is what he said. No, serious. Like this is dead serious.
I don't think that was. I don't think he was. I don't know if that was him. That I know he like died, but I don't know if that was the reason.
Right? Chris Kanyon played Mortis. He was gay, and he got bullied. Yeah,
I didn't know Chris Kanyon was gay.
Yeah,
damn.
For sure. I'm gonna pull it back up, but yeah, I was reading about that one day because I saw that he died, and he was Mortis, right?
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna read it. I'm pretty sure that he was bullied for being gay, is what happened. Yeah, he killed himself, and empty bottle of antidepressants and some liquor. That's crazy.
That's a bad way to go.
That is a bad way to go.
Wasn't that the same guy that like took that vicious chair shot from Undertaker though?
Yeah.
No.
So yeah.
Was it?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, he was openly gay. He publicly revealed his homosexuality in 2004. And then they explored it during the dark side of the ring, and then he overdosed. Yeah, that's what he was bullied for being gay, and
that was kind of after his WWE run because he didn't do anything in WWE like that.
No, he was Mortis in WCW and all that for sure.
No, I'm saying, but like when he came over, he didn't do anything like that.
Like what?
Like when he came to WWE, he didn't do anything. He wasn't the Mortis character anymore. He was just Chris Kanyon.
Right. Yeah. And but no, yeah, when you said that, yeah, I remember seeing something about it for sure. He was gay, and and Dark Side of the Ring, I guess maybe is even where I heard it. Said he was bullied for it.
That's a crazy show.
It is, yeah.
Like I haven't watched all of them, but the ones that I've watched, they're pretty intense. Like the Benoit one's pretty intense. I watched a few of the other ones too. They're pretty crazy.
Oh
yeah. That's insane. But Mortis was a pretty cool character. Adam Bomb was a cool character too. I liked
Adam Bomb was cool.
I liked him. I thought it was cool. But yeah, I guess that's it. I liked the show. It was I had a good time. Y'all have any final thoughts?
Yeah, I do. So Friday, obviously you know what's going on, but Saturday doing a live stream of UFC 317, and as always, I'm making sure I won't fall asleep.
Well, speaking of that,
so also, James, before we go, you're going to be taking
what?
Just missed with the knee. Now I'd be willing to stand in the pocket. Now he's getting the timing. Yep. Good left hook.
Dog, if now, bro, like think of how I'm thinking. I wasn't watching, but I get a message that, hey, bro, I'm trying to hit James up, but like he's asleep. I'm like, well, what you mean he's asleep? He's on the thing. And he's like, no, bro, he's like sleep. I'm like, you fucking lying. He's like, okay, watch, I'm gonna show you. And I'm like, oh damn, bro, he out like a freaking light. And he's like, bro, I keep calling him and I keep hearing the phone ringing. And I'm like, dude is not budging, bro. Like, you are not getting through to him.
So
people really just didn't care. They were like, oh, cool, we can hear the UFC pay-per-view. That works good. That's good enough for us.
look, there were 5,000 people watching you live, but I was concerned. I was trying to wake you up because I didn't know what happened. All I did is I just got home from work. I turned on your live stream and you're passed out. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm calling you because I have no idea if you got hit in the back of the head. Somebody's in there robbing you actively. So like I'm quickly trying to go backwards in the show and find it. And all of a sudden I see you go, what? I was like, oh, okay. He just.
Oh, yeah. No, I was on a marathon of fumes that day and definitely should have just spread out my drinking
That was them.
instead of just knocking them back.
That was them tall boys, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, he sent me that, bro. I was weak, bro. I was pissing myself laughing when he sent that to me. I was so freaking.
It was funny. But even funnier, like the vast success of that show, 5,000 people watching it live, and then watched you fall asleep and continue to watch. Man, that's good TV, though.
Yeah. Like I said, they were able to hear the pay-per-view. They were like, fuck it, we can hear him, so screw it.
Yeah, he can sleep all he wants.
Exactly. The volume's turned up. We can hear what's going on. Fuck it.
So, James, before we go, I know you're doing the live stream Saturday. You'll be on Villains Thursday, and then you have your show, No Mercy, Friday. By the way, I'm on vacation, so I'll be able to attend this week. Yeah.
Hell yeah. It's going to be a fun time, both Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, I can't wait. I will 100% be on. But after Saturday, you're taking a little hiatus. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so next week from July 2nd to the 7th, I'm going to be in good old Tampa Bay celebrating 4th of July with my mom. My wife didn't want me here in El Paso all alone. I'm like, you know what? There's still plenty of places I can go to where I can see fireworks constantly going off. And my wife was like, no, you're either coming up here for 4th of July or you're going to visit your mother. There is no in between on this one. I'm like, fine, I'll go visit my mom. After that, the week I get back, the week after I get back, wife is going to be coming out, and we're going to be starting the moving process of packing everything up, cleaning up our apartment, and heading back on the road to Chicago, this time permanently.
Very nice. So you'll be out about 2 weeks?
About 2 weeks, yeah.
All right, cool. Villains won't be the same without you. No Mercy Sports. I will at least, if nothing else, I'll go back and I'll clip one and I'll play it during your time slot, an old one, so they can watch it. One way or another, I'll get it up for you. Something, even if I got to come on and do a goofy little show myself with some sunglasses, I'll do my best.
All right.
I'm very cool. So last night, Brendan, was what, 2 years?
Yeah.
So you want to tell us about that real quick?
Yeah. That doing a show was something I wanted to do for like some years. And one of my best friends, he's no longer with us, but we always would talk about, he's like, you keep talking about wanting to do this and that. Like, what do you want to do? And at that point, I'm just like, dude, I don't freaking know. Like, I'm probably never going to do it anyway. And it sucks because he never got to see it. So that sucked. But like 2 years ago, I lost my job. I left my job and I was out of work for like a couple months. And me and Cam played football together in high school. So I talked to him from time to time. And I was like, man, like we were talking. I'm like, man, I really want to do this. He's like, oh, damn, like that sounds pretty cool. I've been talking about doing that. Well, you want to do it? Yeah, let's do it. So we freaking hop on freaking Zoom and record like 3 or 4 episodes a day and just upload them back to back. And then like within like 6 months or so, probably 6 months to a year, dude, we were already like over 10,000 subs, like crazy. Like the quality was horrible. The content was great, but the video quality was terrible. And then like did that for a while and then freaking found CFD, which was the best thing ever. You guys would probably agree with me. It was so much fun. Not really, but it was cool because we got to meet all of you guys. So we did that for probably almost a year. Well, probably about 6 months. I don't know. We did that for a while and obviously got tired of the BS, like a lot of stupid things happening. And then we branched off and doing our own thing. And the growth has been really good, man. Like we were stuck at like 17,000 for a while. And then freaking the end of the year last year, it's like everyone's like, oh shit, you exist. And they're like, click. And the views have been out of this freaking world. And it's been really cool, man. It's just trying to grow a brand and just trying to get to where we want to get to be financially stable. It's a grind. When you upload like over 6,000 freaking videos within 2 years, that's pretty freaking mind boggling. It's like, damn, I don't have a freaking life.
Yep.
But it's fun, man. It's a process. But I mean, it's been a fun process, ups and downs, but I'm grateful for everybody involved and everybody around.
So for sure. That's awesome. We hit our 2-year mark on our anniversary, right? So whatever that Thursday is, so Friday would be our anniversary. So July 31st will be our 2-year anniversary for Villains. So really cool about that. So the one thing that I really want to say about your show and your show and the Golden Broom and Hawkaholics, you guys do sports very well. And I realized during my off season that nobody cares about anything I have to say other than college football. That's where I live. That's where my audience is. Like we'll have 300, 400, 500 people watching at a time, over 10,000 views during college football season. Outside of college football season, like nobody wants to hear me talk about college basketball. Nobody wants to hear me talk about college baseball. So I kind of swung mine into video games, foods, movies, and stuff like that. And I think that's outside of college football. I think that's what Villains, the podcast, is going to be. I think we're going to be more of, I think we open our brand that way because I cannot compete with y'all in the sports world. Like I just don't pay enough attention. And when I listen to y'all talk about the NFL and NHL and all that, I realize how much I don't know about this anymore, to be honest with you. About college football, I'm as knowledgeable as anybody else because I pay that much attention. So in the off season, we're going to be more food, movies, video games. I want to branch into that stuff anyway. Wrestling like we're doing, Divine Battleground, which we're going to come up with a new name. Hold on, buddy. So I think it's exciting what we got going on here. I mean, between Brandon and his graphics and videos, me and Cody and JT now with the website that we're all fixing to be on. I don't know, man. I'm very, very pleased with this partnership. I love what we're doing. I think I can contribute better away from the sports world outside of the college football season. Okay, yeah, go see mommy. And I think that's what I'm going to do. And we're having fun with it on Villains too, man. I don't know where your phone is, but any final thoughts? Any more?
I think my thing is like, at least from our perspective, I think we always wanted to do things differently. Like we wanted to be able to cover things consistently, but be different and like go the extra mile. And I feel like when I see other content creators, or even like when you look at the big screen, it's so blah. Like whether you watch ESPN or Fox and they're talking about the off season, I just feel like you can get real bored. And it's not interactive, or you just lose your concentration. And I think what we've always tried to do, both of us, but is trying to just break the mold. And you can break things down and all that, but trying to make the off season like interesting, because it's so easy to get bored in the off season. So like, well, they're not playing no games. Yeah, it's like, oh, the draft's over. Well, what the hell are we supposed to talk about? And it's just,
I mean, the craziest. The craziest thing I saw was on Get Up ESPN. Like, we are still months away from the NFL season, and these people are like, oh, what does Dak Prescott have if he were retired today for a legacy? Like, so we're just going to bypass the Stanley Cup Finals. We're going to bypass baseball just because it's like, oh, you don't have anything to talk about outside of Judge and Ohtani. But, you know, God forbid you can bring in some past people that have played the game.
Well, I mean, and I was watching a video. There's a freaking show y'all did a while back. I think I was scrolling through videos I was watching, and Andrew was talking about like TV he watched the most, and he's like, I watched like 70% of my life is like watching TV, and he's like, well, you know, ESPN was like the thing he would watch the most. Yeah. And like, I remember like growing up as a kid, or even like in junior high and high school, and watching ESPN. Whether I woke up in the morning, it was watching like Mike and Mike in the morning, watching freaking Sports Center, like all the really cool people. And they weren't talking about BS. Like it was interesting. It was fun to watch. It didn't even matter. Like I didn't even watch hockey, but I was like, I bet like hockey's cool. Like I don't care. Like it was fun. But
Hell
like,
yeah.
I feel like in the last 5-10 years or so, even he said it. It's like, dude, it's political, it's dumb. Like, I just have no interest in watching it. The only time I'll ever watch ESPN is if they have a game that's only available on that station. Like now,
Yeah.
compared to what it used to be, ESPN was like must see TV. Like Stuart Scott, freaking Mel Kiper's ass, but like freaking First Take, Mike and Mike, like dude, like Trey Wingo, like NFL Primetime, like used to be fun, bro. College Game Day, like.
College Game Day is still fun, but at the same time, it's like,
and I think that was the reason why we want to be so much different, is because the biggest product is ass, bro. Like we can give just as good of takes, we can give just as good of presentation. Just we don't have the budget to make it look freaking crazy great.
yeah,
But we can keep your attention a lot more, and we talk about stuff that the media don't really talk about, or like we don't get political. We get to the nitty gritty stuff, and I think that's what I always wanted to do is just be different. I wanted to be different, and that's just, I guess that's why we've grown the way we have, is just trying to be different.
Yeah. And I mean, like, there's been times where I've even watched a few ESPN shows, and they've had former hockey player PK Subban come on, and he was talking about the Four Nations face-off. You know, what's better? What was better, the Four Nations face-off or the in-season tournament? What's more impressive, LeBron scoring 50,000 points or Alex Ovechkin surpassing Wayne Gretzky's scoring record? And it's like everybody was going towards basketball. Like, oh, it's more physical. They're doing this. They're doing that. Are you kidding me? Hockey players are putting on about 20 to 30 pounds, gliding across the hardest surface probably known to man with knives on their feet. Anything could possibly happen. Hockey is easily the most physical sport. Hockey, when it comes to representing your country, those motherfuckers are going to show up and show out.
And I mean, dude, there aren't any good shows on there anymore anyway. I remember old school ESPN, like Jim Rome is Burning and all kinds of cool shows like that.
Was
like
so good.
Freaking Jim Everett freaking flipping the table and pretty much threatening to beat Jim Rome's ass. Like, come on. He's like, call me Chris one more time, bro. Call me Chris one more time.
He said, I know you ain't called me Chris to my face. He said, actually, I've called you Chris to your face twice now, Chris. I was like, oh, shit. He got what he deserved, though.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, you can't beat that, bro.
No.
Like sports shows ain't what it used to be. And I think that's why so many people have wanted to do like what we're doing, because they got tired of watching that freaking garbage.
Mm-hmm.
It was too. It was just bad. It just became bad. And the worst thing about it, like we said, man, was political. Like that's the one way to ruin everything. It doesn't matter what the subject is. If you start talking about politics, you start choosing a side.
Oh.
And it's not just because, you know, they went all super woke or whatever. Had they done it the other way and went all super right, I feel like the same ramifications would have happened. Stay out of politics. Like, you're going to alienate half the country one way or the other.
And the sports themselves have done the same thing, like some more than others. Like the NFL had a freaking stint where it was like hella political. It's not as bad now. But like freaking 5 years ago or so, dude, they were pushing everything. Baseball was one of those ones that like kind of didn't do it as bad. I feel like they kind of pushing stuff now, but not that bad. Basketball was a hell of, and that's another reason I can't watch it, because it's just everybody's a freaking prima donna. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants to be this. Everybody wants to be that. And it's like
they want to take like 20, 25 games off, and it's like
I just don't know how. I don't know if y'all do, but I don't know how anyone watches that anymore. Like, I just can't bring myself to watch it. It's just horrible. Like, watching the college baseball World Series is the most baseball I've watched in a while, and it was so freaking entertaining. It was so freaking fun to even if we lose a game, like, it was still fun to watch because there's none of that crap attached to it. It's just the sport.
Yeah. And that's why I stick to, like, you know, MLB Network, NHL Network, NFL Network. You just have people on there doing their jobs, talking about the sport that they love. Good Morning Football is like 3 hours long, but I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll sit through it. What do we got to talk about? Oh, we got this moron on here who really thinks that a crappy team is somehow going to amount to 8 wins this year.
I mean, the Titans are winning the South.
The Giants are winning the Super Bowl.
Oh man, they got hosed so bad for their scheduling. Oh man, they got if you haven't seen 28 Years Later, they got what the Alpha was rocking in that movie.
Oof.
Look, I'll with you. Would it have mattered had they had an easier schedule? I mean, like, were we expecting the Giants to win 7-8 games? Because I can't say I was.
I mean, looking at that schedule, they'll be lucky to even win 3 games.
Unfortunately, y'all are battling for third place.
Yeah, because it's definitely going to be a 3-way tie between the Eagles, Redskins, and Cowboys. But
right, let's see.
I mean, even if it was medium, it'd be like
the Cowboys aren't in that conversation, in my opinion.
So hold on. Let's go over their schedule real quick, all right? Because I'm having fun with this now. So they start with the Commanders at
Oof,
Commanders. That's
That's
pretty
an
rough.
L.
And
That's
then
an L.
and then Cowboys.
That's
L.
I don't know, bro. I think they could beat Dallas.
Then the Chiefs.
Ooh, that's an L.
That's an
then the
L.
Chargers,
Oof, that's an L.
and then the Saints. That's
That's a
probably-
win. That's a win.
then the Eagles.
That's an L.
And then at Broncos.
Yeah, that's an L.
And
Yeah.
then the Eagles.
Against who?
Eagles again.
That's another L.
49ers.
That's
That's an L.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'd say
hard.
And then-
It's going to be a hard fought game, but definitely an L.
And then the Bears.
I think they lose to the Bears, bro. The Bears will be better.
And then the Packers.
Yeah, they're taking that L, bro.
And then the Lions.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm telling you, we got fucking hosed.
And then the Patriots.
Y'all
That
taking that L
might
to the
be a-
Patriots, bro.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say that might be a win, but they got Stephon Diggs, Will Campbell. Oh,
And then
God.
the Commanders again.
Ooh, oh my gosh, bro.
And then the Vikings.
That's a bumpy ass road, bro.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. I
If we
agree.
even somehow win some of these games, I will be shocked.
Who's the starter week 1?
I say 4 wins.
Yeah. Honestly, it really comes down to either Jameis Winston or Russell Wilson, but they're
They
more
shouldn't
than
have signed- but they shouldn't have signed both of those guys. That was so stupid. Like, just pick
Yeah.
one.
it's more than likely going to be
If you was
Russell
gonna draft
Wilson.
a quarterback, why would I take Russ and Jameis? You
Yeah.
already got the Italian mobster. He's gonna be the odd one out.
It's more than likely going to be Russell Wilson starting this season.
You say that, Brandon, but if you really think about it, they just signed Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston just as easy as they could have signed anybody else because they didn't pay Winston and Russell nothing. So basically, they got all those years of experience for relatively nothing. So why not?
I
think they're more so giving it like a year or two for Jackson Dart to learn under them. So
I don't think it's gonna be 2 years. I think the Jordan Love thing was a phenomenon. I don't think anybody's gonna be sitting that long now.
Yeah, I think Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston are gone after this year. I do. They're both past their prime.
Oh yeah, easily.
So
Right now, the one thing we're getting from Jameis Winston is the fact that he's the R-Truth of the NFL.
It's either boom or bust, bro. He's either gonna give you 6 touchdowns in one game or 6 picks the next.
Exactly.
unpopular opinion, but I think Dart starts by the end of the year.
Oh yeah, I think he's gonna play before the end of year 1 because they're not gonna have anything to lose. Why not let the guy get some freaking playing time?
Oh yeah, there's no doubt that he's going to be the main starter for the preseason.
But I thought it was crazy how they drafted him though. I thought that was kind of wild.
I mean, I like it because it's like, yeah, we can only rely on Tommy DeVito for so long, but he's more so meant to be a backup. I do like them going out and getting Jackson Dart.
I don't think they even needed to trade up to get him. I think I don't even think they need to go back in the first round. They could have just scooted to the front of the second. They would have got him.
I'm still happy with Jackson Dart over Shedeur Sanders, though.
The problem with that is you never know what another team's thinking. And I know we can say he's probably going to stop to the second, but if you're the Saints, let's just say, for instance, and you come and you chose a greater need early or whatever, and now here's Jackson Dart, out there, and Spencer Rattler's really good, but is he really the guy to lead you? I don't know, man.
But they had the opportunity to draft him before the Giants were back in the first round, though, and they passed up on that opportunity.
But it's just a comparison, like a what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because there are teams.
Me personally, I probably would have taken a chance on him, even though he's a similar skill set as Rattler. I just think Dart's just good.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's a first-year head coach. He's gonna do what he wants to do, even though your GM is straight cheeks. But
yeah.
Well, the good part about it is nobody's expecting, even us, for the Giants to win more than 4 games, right? So, if the Giant and nobody's expecting the Saints to win more than 5. So if
No, nobody thinks they're gonna even sniff that, bro.
Yeah, right now the biggest talk
They're
is like, oh, the
projecting
Saints are
to be
more
top.
than likely going to get the #1 pick.
And that's okay because their GM, once he's like if they have another bad year, which they're gonna have, his contract expires after this year. They're not gonna bring him back. They're gonna bring in a new GM with the head coach, obviously, and they're gonna do what they want to do.
Yeah.
So I look
And
at
the guy they drafted in the second, I'm not really sold on him. Chuck.
if the Saints can win 6 games and the Giants can win 6-7 games,
Dude.
That is being
That's
Texas-sized generous right there.
well, let me be honest with you. If we're taking the Saints and the Giants together and the over-under is 7 wins, I might pick the under. That's how bad I think the Saints are going to be this year.
The
It's
Saints will probably be in like the
it's
3-4
easily
win
gonna be
range, in my
under.
opinion.
I'm thinking the Saints are going to be a 2-win team, and the Giants are going to be a 4-win
They're
team.
too old. They're too old. All they're doing is paying a bunch of older guys. They took too long to rebuild.
Yeah.
Well, it be that way sometimes. But to the 106 people watching, I appreciate y'all. We're going to wrap it up now. I appreciate everybody being here. Hopefully, we can come back next Monday for another episode. I get off at 5, so I'll be available if y'all are.
Hell yeah, same.
Sounds fun.
Thanks, everybody.
Yes, sir.